So now there are calls to boycott Disney. The mainstream media is picking it up, and there are a bunch of photos popping up all over X of people showing they've canceled their subscriptions to all of these companies that announced advertiser boycotts on X. After Elon Musk said, "Go F yourself, you will not blackmail me," essentially, many people joined in, and now there's big pushes for people to sign up for X Premium and to cancel their subscription to any one of these companies, stop servicing these companies, to boycott any company that played politics. To put it simply, this is not just a company being like, well, we don't want to run ads on X anymore. It's all of these companies at the same time teaming up with political activists to negatively impact a business that isn't taking the political stance they want. This should get very, very interesting. So we'll talk about that. We've got the CEO of X doubling down and telling all of the staff, we believe in free speech and we won't back down from their position. Awesome. And then, of course, Donald Trump praising and thanking Black Lives Matter for their support, despite the fact it was just one guy. But this is a funny story. Now, a lot of conservatives are saying he should not be thanking them. And then, of course, we've got just Trump is gaining a ton of support in New York among Black and Latino voters. And there's on the ground interviews talking about this. And where it gets interesting, he's actually got potential support now, not just from Michael Rappaport, but Chris Cuomo on the PBD podcast saying he's open to voting for Donald Trump. Wow. It's going to get really interesting. Before we get started, my friends, head over to castbrew.com and buy coffee. This will be the best cup of coffee you've ever had. I guarantee it. I think I can say that because I don't know what it quite means to have the best cup of coffee, other than I really do think Appalachian Nights is the best cup of coffee I've ever had, and I think you'll agree. But you can also check out other blends. We got Rise with Roberto Jr. We got Mr. Bocus Pumpkin Spice Experience. We got Stand Your Grounds. We got K-Cups for those that like those. We got ground coffee and we got whole bean coffee. Support Cast Brew. They support the show. This is our company and we are expanding into physical locations currently under construction. With your help, we're going to have 1,000 locations in 5 years, maybe. I don't know. We're hoping to get a bunch of locations up, but that's the big vision. Also, head over to timcast.com, click join us to become a member and support our work directly. If you think the work we do is important, then we need your help because this show is funded by viewers like you. But you'll get access to our uncensored members only show coming up at 10 p.m. where we get a bit naughty and say not so family friendly things. And it's a lot of fun. You as members can join the Discord server, call in, submit questions, and actually talk to us and our guests. So don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe to this YouTube channel right now, and share this show. Take the URL, post it wherever you can if you really want to help out. Joining us tonight to talk about this and a whole lot more, we got Ryan Long and Danny Polishchuk.
Yo.
We'd actually planned to show up here in full blackface, but Tim actually censored us. He doesn't want the viewers knowing that. So,
well, the issue was that half your face was red.
Yeah.
And I was like, what are you guys doing? That's not funny.
That's because you rubbed it off.
That kid got in trouble.
Sometimes
the plan was if we do half him red, half me black, and then we sort of stand next to each
angle
other,
it, right?
Gautier style, we will have the full effect.
That was a fun music video.
Yeah.
Okay, so everyone figure out you're comedians.
Yep. Hello. Welcome back.
Just nonstop with these guys.
Yeah.
I will say with the Elon Musk stuff, you can even, I'm sure you've said no to a advertiser, but if you're like a public company and you do that, it's illegal, right? But if being able to do that must have been sick because you've probably said no to an advertiser and it does make you feel like quite the big man.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, but this is, I think it's simple to say it's illegal, but you're mostly true. You have a fiduciary responsibility to make money and someone comes to you and offers you a bunch of money. If you don't have a legitimate reason for rejecting it.
Dude, you can't just run the company to the ground and be like, yeah, I'm just doing my thing. It's like you'd be, at the very least, you'd be fired, like FCC violations. So I guess that's the whole reason why you have a private company is you're like, I can do whatever I want.
So Elon can say, go F yourselves.
Yeah.
Well,
and
now
he is.
That's going to be
But
great.
that's what I mean. As an individual podcaster where you're like, I'm done with this ad because I didn't like, he's just doing that to the entire industry.
Good. Well, we'll talk about that and more. Thanks for hanging out, guys. Should be a blast. We got Hannah Claire Brimelow hanging out.
Hey, I'm Hannah Claire. I'm a writer for SCNR.com, otherwise known as Scanner News. I really like it there. Ian's back.
Hello, everyone. I'm back from Luke Rudkowski's Castle in the Mountains in Miami. It was great, and it's good to be back. Let's rock and roll.
Yeah, let's get it done. Tim,
I just want to mention real quick, too, Newsom's debating DeSantis tonight.
I want to see it.
And, you know, it's going to be at 9, and we're having this I'm having this conversation before the show. Like, do we comment on it? Like, do we watch it? And everyone just shrugs. Like,
ask the chat.
Why?
Are you a Newsom? Are you going
I still
Newsom or
don't get the point of
DeSantis?
it.
Yeah, I mean, look, it is fair to say you've got red state versus blue state mentality, but I just feel like a lot of people are hyping it up because DeSantis is running for president. But look, if Fox News announced they were going to have politician A versus politician B, and they're just totally irrelevant to the cycle, I just be like, well, okay, that's fine. They do town halls all the time.
I'm down
I
with
don't care.
what Hannah Claire said. Maybe we could put a poll in there and see if the audience really wants it. If it's like 75% yes.
No,
maybe
it's a
we can
commitment,
pop
man,
over.
because it's an hour and a half long, and it's like if we want to actually watch it, I just kind of feel like
Might
it's
be a
too,
major snooze fest. Like,
Tim
Yeah,
says
two-
this is a
two-
privately run podcast,
That's
and
right.
he's going to make the decisions here.
I want to see if they're like laughing it up and it's like, oh, these guys get along, or if it's super lame.
We'll probably take a peek at it.
They
but I-
disagree on everything.
But I feel like it's going to
Standing
be
alone.
a total snooze fest between two guys who don't matter to the presidential cycle. Maybe Newsom runs.
has
Wanna
there ever
compare
been
their
something
heights?
like it? Like this, where just
No.
two governors just debate each other for?
During a presidential cycle and one's a candidate and one's not, it's weird.
Is there a possibility that you hear like a glass shattering sound and then Trump does come through from the rafters?
Stone Cold sound.
He jumps
Silent all along.
off the rafters and swings down.
Or
like
an
Jared
orange
Leto did.
paint just sprays on the audience.
they get what was it slimed.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. So we'll see what happens later. But let's jump into the first story. We got this from Newsweek. Disney faces renewed boycott calls. It's not just Disney, but I love how this made it to Newsweek. They say things are heating up for Disney with the company facing fresh boycott calls, continuing on from its announcement that the brand was ceasing advertising with X, formerly Twitter, just days ago. Several leading global brands, including Disney, announced they're boycotting X. Elon Musk then said, "Go F yourselves." And in response to this, we got a bunch of people on X posting photos of them canceling their Disney Plus subscriptions. Now, I just want to stress, I canceled mine a long time ago after Disney Plus thanked the security forces in China who are running the Uyghur concentration camps where they force women to get abortions. And let's just say it is very, very brutal what they're doing to those people. So I'm not too happy with what Disney's doing, and I don't want them to have my money. But now it's piling up. They're also calling for boycotts of all of these other companies. So it'll be interesting. Will X be able to survive just off of subscription memberships? I kind of feel like
How much is the ad revenue for? How much is
I know
their ad
Apple was
revenue a year?
100 million a year.
Right.
Yeah.
that
I
they
think it's
lost.
a
That's a
collective.
lot.
Andrew Tate said he would do $1 million. Didn't you say you'd do so?
he said he'd do $1 million a month.
Million a month to
that's
advertise
12.
X.
I said
on X.
$100K a month. I said $100K a month for 3 months.
And
I think he said $1 million, so we have another $1 million. Can we?
Yeah, Babylon Bees doing
Confirmed.
$500,000. They were doing $250,000 a month, but they doubled it to $500,000.
Yeah.
So then you're talking about $50 million a year after stuff like that, and it's probably closer to $30 million a year, where it's like I think a guy like him doesn't really care that much about that type of numbers.
Yeah.
I wonder what they're going to do. I thought maybe that they would end up shuttering the centralized service and turn it into a decentralized protocol, because they've been talking a lot about using Nostr, and he's been working with Jack
Who's that?
Dorsey. Elon.
Yeah.
Nostr is like, what was your question?
I was saying who's using
Yeah, that they would like join the Fediverse and then make Twitter X more of a protocol that you would use, like a decentralized peer-to-peer communication system. So like we'd all host it on our devices, and if like half of them go down, the system's still running on everybody else's device. You just pour it in. So it would cut the costs of servers. And I don't know what their bulk costs are. I know when he bought the company, slashed a bunch of the employee count.
This is actually a really good point. This could be a clever play for Elon, where they finally get Twitter onto a decentralized system where no one can be banned ever again.
Yeah, he
So-
says it's not even up to us.
Yeah. So if they go, I don't know if you're saying Nostr.
Nostr, yeah.
But or what's the other one? The Fediverse.
Mm-hmm. The Fediverse.
So these are like protocols where anyone can plug into any other one, basically like the internet. If Elon Musk says Twitter is now going to be open source and federated, that means you could be signed up for Gab and tell someone, oh, if you're follow me, Ryan at gab.com. And then if someone's on X, they can type that in and follow you wherever they are. So this would mean that X, Twitter, whatever, could no longer ban anybody.
Wouldn't that be like destroying his investment though? Like
If the company is going to go under because advertisers canceled,
yeah.
and then he's just like, well, the company's dead unless we open source and federate.
Also, if you open source, you could put stuff in where if there is advertisement for every $1 million Disney pulls, another censorship person gets fired, and just have that trigger set up and just be like, well, it's up to you. It's not out of my control right now. The
switch.
thing's set up. HR person goes for $100,000 and $1 million. We go a censorship person.
Oh, like smart contracts.
The smart
Just trigger-
contract just triggers firings according to how much money Disney pulls. Sort of hold them hostage on that leverage.
I kind of get the vibe that this is the direction. Not only would it be great for humanity to have a system like Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, on the Fediverse. I mean, that's the big deal. You got Minds and Mastodon and things like that on the Fediverse. Gab, you mentioned earlier. But Elon has blatantly stated he's not in it for the money, and he never was. He's in it for humanity and free speech and things like that.
I bet his investors are like, yeah, we're We're
Their
kind of in it for the money a bit.
The CEO had to come up with a statement being like, "Well, we really liked Elon's
Yeah,
colorful
I mean, he has
comments."
he has a lot of investors who are probably like, yeah, it's humanity.
But you could also run ads on a decentralized service.
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
no
for
need
sure.
that it would ever really even disrupt the
Yeah.
ad revenue.
And then actually, he could come out and say, we're going to decentralize the service, federate, which means we're not going to be responsible for any hate speech because it's out of our hands, and we can still control advertising. So we can make all the money with none of the downside. That's a play right there.
Would it mean if you federated that the advertisements get seen by more people too, theoretically?
Oh, that's an interesting concept.
Probably not.
Federated
Probably not.
advertising is a nice way to go in the future.
It is, but he would have to. So basically, the way that would work is the idea of federated social media is imagine if, like, how the internet works. You can open a browser and go to any website. You would be a member on X, and you could choose to follow any other federated account from any other website. So let's say you're on X and someone's on Facebook. You could go onto X and follow someone's Facebook.
But the owners of X, if they're in the Fediverse, could say, we want to blacklist all accounts from Facebook.com. And then you can't see it through the Facebook node. But if you go to like Mastodon, you can still see the Facebook node unless they get to choose. Whereas something like Nostr is way more open and you can't stop anything.
But I think it's fair that a service can say, we don't want to connect to this service. That's fine. But if Elon was selling ads on X, they would not appear outside of X. But if he federates, you could sign up for, I don't know, Truth Social. If Truth Social federated, you could follow Trump on X from his Truth Social account. So it basically connects
Does the app,
everything.
does True Social have to allow it though?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So Truth, isn't Truth Mastodon?
It was based on Mastodon. I don't know.
I can't imagine they're going to want to though, because isn't that the whole reason that Trump's not tweeting is because he has
Right.
this-
They want to make money.
They want to make money, and they're like, you can't go over to our competitors.
The bigger question I have for you guys, because you guys make a deeply, deeply offensive and shocking, edgy content is. I mean, what do you think about these companies? I mean, Disney recently announced that they're misaligned with the public.
One of the problems with like companies like Disney in general is sort of like Coke, where you go, even if someone goes, oh, I'm going to boycott that, and you go, just so you know, they own all the other 45 others. Like it's impossible to even remember who they own and stuff like that.
Do they
right?
own
There's
this?
just- It's very.
No.
I bet you Coke does or someone.
Yeah, probably.
You've seen the thing where it's like 3 companies own every single.
I mean, they
bag.
own
all
ESPN.
Unilever just owns
They own
everything.
ESPN. They own. I mean, my main issue with Disney is I'm banned from all their parks for life. But
Tell that
I can't
story.
really- I
Tell
can't
that
really-
story.
I can't. Really, no.
Well, you're not. The bottom line is streaking is a nighttime activity.
No, I don't know. I don't really watch any Disney stuff. Like, I'm not like into Star Wars. Like, you guys watch like Star Wars, like The Mandalorian?
I only watched
You're
it
not into that stuff.
after episode 1 came out.
But they make like a ton of movies where you don't even realize that was a Disney film.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I was done with Mandalorian when they fired Gina Carano. I'm
Yeah.
like, dude, and that's the start of it. But so I had a year membership, and then I bought the year in advance. When the Uyghur Muslim thing came out, where they thanked the security forces, I'm like, yo, those people are like mercilessly torturing human beings, and we all know. So I'm done with this. And then with Mandalorian, I mean, Gina Carano, that whole stuff, I was like, this company's garbage.
Yeah. The crazy thing is, like, their stock is not doing well. So you think that they actually would be
But
like,
isn't
yeah,
that
we
the
have
whole
to stop
reason
doing
that
this stuff.
Bob Iger got brought back is because he was going to stop all this nonsense?
Yeah.
I feel like that was the whole thing, is that Bob Iger, the other guy went in, right?
Yeah.
That guy was tanking it. And then he sort of came back from the grave being like, I'm taking the reins
coming
back.
Yeah.
So I feel like to some degree he's being
He
held
probably will
hostage.
put a kind of an end to some of this stuff, but obviously.
But it's probably just ceremonial, right? They're saying, oh, look, board members, we have brought Bob back, and so things will be okay. He never actually committed to changing any ideology.
Well, I
He's
bet
just
with
a
the
change of
movie, like,
leadership.
because all their movies keep bombing, but like the thing is, like, those cycles is those movies probably went into development 4 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
when probably at the time you go like, oh yeah, this stuff is gonna be around forever. We're gonna all this rah rah.
This is a
stuff.
great idea.
Yeah, this is a great idea right now, and nobody's thinking.
Everyone's
hey,
going to watch Marvels 40 times.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if it came out today, it would be a huge hit. And then
And now I
it's like-
watched it 35 times.
And they probably their production schedule is like, yeah, this will be out like 2022, and then it gets pushed back 2 years
Mm-hmm.
or whatever, a year, and then people are like, this sucks.
I just want to point out, this
Who's
is a
it made
private,
by?
It's owned by a private company, Spindrift, and its founder. They have 105 employees, and he grew up on a farm in Massachusetts. I think that's what they said. And so,
I think you dig a little further. That guy's last
quality
name is Pepsi.
Yeah, they took a $29 million investment from Moelis and Company LLC in 2020.
Spindrifted.
Yeah,
and that's owned by
and
George
another
Soros,
$20 million by VMG Partners. So those are the two big companies that came in.
Where do I find that?
That was on Wikipedia history.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Subsidiary of a subsidiary.
I mean, they are a
Right.
solid product. They don't
Soros
have any-
No,
Incorporated.
that's what they do. That's what they do. They like Starbucks. This is what, I read this in the newspaper, so maybe it's not true, but my understanding is Starbucks will open a coffee shop and call it like Mom and Pops, And then you go there like, oh, I don't want to go to Starbucks, and you're actually buying from Starbucks.
Yeah, I got you. Starbucks is my favorite one, how they play all this stuff, because a lot of times they'll do, some super progressive thing about like refugees, and then people get mad, and then they replace it with veterans, and they get mad, and they replace it back with refugees. And they go back and forth between refugees and veterans, trying to find the sweet spot.
So the company Moelis & Company LLC is a publicly traded multinational investment firm. So there's very likely BlackRock, State Street, and Vanguard are involved.
Well, we got to check. We got to check.
20 minutes. Yeah, we should check.
No, enjoy your BlackRock beverage. Whatever you do.
They don't put money in
The
everything.
smooth taste of BlackRock.
I can wait. Let me
That's
try.
a good name for a drink.
It tastes like a young millennial couple losing a bid on their first home.
yeah.
But I'll look into it while you
Mine
guys are
tastes like
talking.
foreclosure.
That's my favorite flavor.
Yeah. That's so funny.
So anyway,
Your
back
cool
to
hip beverage is owned by
maybe.
Vanguard.
What about Liquid? We got Liquid Death over here too. I hear they are based AF. Perhaps I don't know.
Yeah, I think so. I think they're pretty. Yeah, I don't think they've gone public yet. I think they're talking about going public, but I don't think they have.
You guys want to know a secret?
I heard the Liquid Death was partially owned by the Clinton Foundation.
You guys want to know a secret?
Yeah.
So Liquid Death.
You
is
pour
like,
them out and just put tap water in it and give it to your guests?
It says no. It says Death of Plastic on those cans.
Yeah.
Look, I like Liquid Death, but there's plastic in those cans.
Okay.
Plastic in cans?
All
Yeah.
cans are lined with plastic.
Oh, they're lining.
So if you take
It's what everyone used to say to Pamela Anderson. There's plastic in those cans.
Nice.
But if you take something that will eat away the metal, it
Yeah.
leaves a plastic bag.
Oh.
Yeah, and you'll see the drink in the plastic bag, and you can.
Oh,
check.
the coating?
Yeah, the whole inside is coated. So we actually did it. My
That's
brother
the
did
skin from the lizard people.
it. That's how they make your canned beverages.
Actually, this is disconcerting. The 6th ingredient on here is adrenochrome. So
Nice.
that settles
no,
that.
Liquid Death's actually pretty good.
Yeah, it's also
I like it.
Fairly based, low sugar. I
yeah,
like
it's
it.
also like with the reason it's bad to have plastics when it's in the sun. So keeping it out of the sun supposedly negates it. That's what I've heard. I don't know if that's true or not.
Let's jump to this story. Let's jump to this one. We got this from Bloomberg. Yacarino.
By the Pizzagate pizzeria.
Oh, no. Let's talk about this story. Yacarino's memo to ex-staff calls Musk candid and profound. I love this. Long story short, the CEO has doubled down. When they announced that Linda Yacarino was going to be the CEO, everybody thought, okay, here we go, WEF, deep state, whatever. She's going to start banning people. Instead, when Elon Musk says, go F yourself, she puts out a statement being like, no, we stand by this and we believe in it, and we will not be bullied into changing our position because people are trying to take money from us. Here's the best part. I see these lefties on Twitter mocking her for doing this, being like, haha, look at her. She's pushing this interview out more. And I'm like, I think that's a great test to expose who the grifters are. Because these leftists who are saying that, what they're telling us is that in their worldview, they're saying, why would you want to lose money? Whereas Elon is saying, take all the money from me. I'm not backing down from what I believe is right. So it shows you where we are, where they are. Not everybody on the left. I'm just saying the ones that are saying that.
You're saying this sentiment is like, well, you're screwing your career, but without any talk of do they actually think that?
Yeah, so when I see these lefties be like, haha, why would you push this further? They're basically saying, why would you announce an ideological position that would jeopardize your business? And it's really funny because to me, I'm on the other side. I'm like, I absolutely will tell an advertiser to screw off if they try to do that.
I think Elon Musk doesn't do anything unless he sees a long-term gain, right? So he wouldn't announce these positions publicly if he didn't think that they were worth it. And I think that's the measure that culture is shifting. I mean, even with Yacarino, the thing that she got in trouble for was that she was saying, Twitter, we like free speech, but we will de-amplify hateful content. And de-amplify was like a specific word about, people get afraid of like being shadow banned or whatever. For her to have fallen in line with a more Musk-esque position is interesting.
Yeah, but
it shifts within the company.
Because he's the boss, but I don't think Elon's playing 5D chess. I think he's just pissed, and he's the richest man in the world, so he can tell anybody who wants to F off.
But if
that's
he's the
F you
richest man
money.
in the world, why does he care about this? I mean, he could stay quiet and spend his money on who cares.
No, because wealth
I
doesn't-
think he
no,
wouldn't come
because
out unless there was a specific gain for him.
Absolutely disagree. My point is Elon Musk clearly cares more about his ideological position than the money. Whereas
I think he also cares about legacy, his own.
Yeah.
I completely
That's what
agree.
I think is part of it.
And so his position is free speech matters. The woke mind virus is destructive, and I'm not going to sacrifice the world for a paycheck. Especially, it's easy to say when you're the richest guy on the planet.
But I don't think it has to be a paycheck, right? Like, what is his long-term? This has gained him so much influence among conservative or moderate people. Like, he could have been a silent billionaire just doing whatever he wanted with his cars and his 1 million children.
He was
and
never a
instead-
silent billionaire,
Right.
though. He was
That was the
loud
thing.
and proud.
But he could have been if he wanted to. He has chosen to continue to push down this path because he wants to be in the public eye. That's
Which
not
is an
true of everyone.
ideological position.
there might be a counter to that though. Like with Tesla, he was able to sell it because he was not a silent person.
I know.
right?
It was
that
the first time it worked for him.
But that wouldn't exist if he wasn't loud, because he was loud and got everyone to invest in it.
I know. He knows that having social influence is really important. It is the ultimate social
Right.
currency right now.
In which case, he should have said, "I'm sorry" to the advertisers, because then
Unless he doesn't think it's
Well,
long-term
he's saying that
benefit.
long
You
term.
don't
I
know
just think
unless
it's a
the
measure of culture.
ideological position is more important to him.
Yeah, he's consistent.
Elon clearly is a guy who cares about ideological issues.
Yeah.
My point is that I think he realizes the issues that he's promoting right now, and maybe he feels them personally. I have no reason to doubt his authenticity. He realizes that it resonates with the American public in a way,
Yeah.
and the international public. People feel like
Yeah.
they are being manipulated by big corporations that don't represent their values, and then you have this guy saying, "I'm going to be open and speak out about this."
But that's not a financial incentive.
I
That's
never
the-
said it had
It
to be
might be a
financial.
long
I
term
think it's social
financial
capital.
incentive.
Yeah, well, I think it's ideological. There's no. Look, the way he said "go f yourself," it's clearly an emotional reaction.
Oh yeah. Especially when he said, he's like, if X ceases to be a company, then you see that thing we said, he's like, if they break us and ruin us, then at least people will know who did it. Like he said it in this really weird way where you're like,
But if it wasn't, if it was planned, I'm not saying it was. Does that make it less authentic? Like
What was planned?
if he had gone on there being like, I know I'm going to find a way to just say go f yourself to the advertisers
I don't
when I
think
go
so.
on this thing.
Well, Bob
But if
I do
he
sort
did-
of agree with Tim that he does fly by the seat of his pants.
Oh,
a little
for sure.
bit.
Big time.
Seems, or at least seems like it. One thing you can say though about platforms where you could say, "Oh, who cares? They can just get any advertisement." That is the sign that a platform is sort of, you go, "Oh, this is sort of an off the beaten path platform," as you start seeing dick enlargement pills and like all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So if you went on Twitter and it was all those kind of advertisers, it would take away from its like legitimacy as a town
but
square.
it is a lot of Cheech and Chong. Have you
Cheech
seen?
and
so
Chong
weird.
is
Everybody
the
says that.
algorithm.
I've never seen that.
I am 90% Cheech.
Honestly, I see
It's
people
Chong, I
say
think,
this all
mostly.
the time. They go, "My whole thing is Cheech and Chong," and all I see
Guy's
is
got deep pockets, my
I see
friend.
that doctor with the gooey thing. You see that one? It has like 200 million impressions. It must be spending millions.
What is he selling?
I don't know. I click on the website and it's like
Gooey
he's
thing?
honestly, I think he's just saying that it's good to use like MCT oil or something. I don't even.
I think I know what you're talking
Is
about.
that the one where he says "Don't put cream in your coffee"?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, and then,
saw that
and then I
too.
went on the website to try and, but like every one of their ads has
They're not selling
literally
anything.
100 million impressions. They're spending so much money, and I'm like, all right, let's see what this does. Just because I want to know, and I couldn't even figure out what this
Yeah,
is.
I watched this video for like 10 minutes, and I'm like, okay, well, that was a fun podcast, I guess. I don't know.
What is
I don't
this?
think
What's
he
your
was selling
product?
it. Yeah,
That was
But
the-
I don't know. Okay, cool.
For the record, I cannot confirm at all that BlackRock has any money in Spindrift. I can't
been
anywhere.
stressing
I'm
you
going
out over
on.
there?
It's been for about 10 minutes. Yeah, thanks.
But that guy was saying, you're right. He's like, you want to have. No, I think he was saying MCT was bad, wasn't he?
I don't know. I can't figure it
No,
out.
he said coconut is good.
or maybe
So-
coconut. I don't know,
think
but they
is
don't
it coconut?
seem to
Just a
sell
pro
a product.
coconut lobby. He's just out there
He's
being
just
like, you
some
guys should know about
doctor.
this.
It's like some doctor who has just tons of money, but like I can't tell what he even sells. But they're spending so much money on ads.
I think the problem they're going through, we went through this at Minds, is that these investors come in with huge amounts of money and they say, I want X amount of impressions over this much time. And then they put all the money in, so it goes to the front and keeps getting recycled. And it's like really bad for the platform because you don't want people to get saturated with the same ad over and
Well,
over.
I guess, I guess that's happening because you guys all see the same ads and I see the same ads, but they're different.
I haven't
ads.
seen either one of these ads, if that helps
Okay.
at all.
Chong is out there, man. That guy's got the deepest pocket in Hollywood.
It's fun to
What are
go.
they advertising? What is the
He's
I think it's like
advertising his
CBD
weed,
gummies,
yeah.
probably,
CBD
or
gummies or something?
Delta
Yeah,
8 or
CBD
something.
gummies.
He's just advertising getting high.
Alternative lifestyles.
He's not saying like any specific brand. He doesn't have a choice.
I gotta say though,
He's just saying spark him up, man.
Instagram ads infinitely better than X.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not trying to be a dick. I like X, but I go on Instagram and it's like they have
Shirts
reached-
that you would wear.
It's because they
It's like
track
pictures
you.
of me wearing the shirts,
Yeah,
being
yeah,
like,
yeah.
"Oh, you're wearing the shirts, Tim,
Dude,
buy
they get
more."
me too. Instagram is pretty good at that. You're just
you-
like a shirt that you were just imagining in your mind.
Do you think it's because they have the shop feature now that they were able to more seriously refine their data?
Yeah, if you buy one thing, get
They
used to
know what
getting
you
that.
like immediately.
They might
This
have a deal
UFO
with
came from
Amazon.
Instagram.
Like they could have deals. Like Zuckerberg's a psychology. Did a psychology major in college. I'm pretty sure they're obsessed with tracking you and getting. All
Oh, yeah,
your
they're
metric-
tracking you
like
a
your
lot of
metrics.
places all over the
and
internet.
it shows in the ads. They're successful, but like at what cost?
Well, Facebook was like, in their terms of service, if you opened Facebook on any tab, they could read every other tab you had open, even in different windows.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which is like,
Facebook, it starts drizzling out. They're pitching you umbrellas. Like they are
Yeah.
on it.
Yeah. Yo, crazy story is that I went to a Walmart once. This is like 5 years ago. And we are walking down the middle of one of the aisles and they had one of those things set up in the middle of the aisle with a bunch of TVs, and it said special on sale, $397 TVs. And I was like, I didn't think twice. I was like, oh, okay, maybe we get one of these. And then we leave. I go home, sit down on my computer, and there's an ad for that exact photo.
That happens a lot.
And I was like, on the sidebar, and I was like, wait, what? Like, it wasn't just a photo at a Walmart. It may have been, but it was identical to the, the aisles were the same. I was like, it may actually be that Walmart has a crew member take a photo.
Or they hear your words. That's the other part. Like, I'll just say it, and then I'll see penis reduction pills. And I was just talking about this.
Probably the GPS on the phone.
Yeah.
And it's possible.
Yeah.
I don't know if they do this, but imagine it's a very smart thing to do. Walmart says, hey, this morning, team lead, take a picture of your TVs because we're doing an ad campaign. They go, okay. And then take a picture, upload it. And then the Walmart team on Facebook has regional advertisements with those photos. So when my phone aligns with the GPS, Facebook serves me the ad for that region at that Walmart.
That's exactly.
Of the photo of the exact TVs I was looking at.
In marketing, they want to show you the same ad 8 times to get you to buy it. There's a number, 8. I think it's 8. Could be a different number at this point. And so what they'll do probably is they're tracking what ads are at what stores. And if you go to that store by GPS, then they want to serve you that ad again and get you to buy that thing. Yeah. You call it insidious. It's really dirty if people don't know what's happening to them.
Bro, it's crazy how... you guys want to hear something crazy?
Yeah.
So when we went and got...
The 9th time they showed you that thong.
Yeah, I just had to buy it. I was like, I can't stop. And I just hit the button, and it's true. No, so I went to Tijuana to get medical treatment because I was having hip problems. And so we did this whole thing at the Cellular Performance Institute, got stem cells. And they said one of the things you can't do is you can't do ice. What are they called? Ice baths or whatever.
Ice bath, yeah.
Is that what it's called?
You can't?
For 3 months because it kills the stem cells.
For 3
and
months.
No saunas. Take it easy. Start exercising slowly. And I'm like, okay, cool, no problem.
How are you gonna F life?
But as soon as the 3 months were up, guess what Instagram sent me an ad for? An ice bath.
Oh, no.
Like exactly at the 3-month mark?
Not exactly, like within
But,
like a week of it.
yeah.
And I'm like, wait, hold on.
Account for delivery.
I've never done this stuff. I've never done an ice bath. I've never done any of that. I skate. And all of a sudden I'm getting ads for it. And I'm like, I didn't even Google search this. I bought one.
Yeah.
I bought it. It's automatic. It chills
they
the
just know
water.
you better than
you go on your
yourself.
phone, you press the button. It chills the water and spinning it around. And then once you're done working out, you dive in. What? And I ended up buying it.
You got an ice bath?
It's on its way.
Oh, nice.
They got me. I don't understand, dude. They got me.
Huberman Jr.
I don't know, man. Maybe it's, you know what it is? It's probably not as crazy as you think. I follow Joe Rogan.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
Like
you follow
fitness
probably so many like
and then
ice
they're
bath
like,
people.
everybody who follows these guys has heard about this and they're probably going to buy it if we send it to them. It's that simple.
And Luke goes nuts.
But they
he has
also,
one at his house.
they're also putting you in upper echelon of money. They're not sending everyone like, here, buy this $5,000 ice bath. That's getting served to very few people.
It can hot tub and ice bath. Ooh. It's got a pump that you can like with an app set the temperature.
You know
of
what
it.
you're on? You're on the sucker list.
Oh yeah, they're like the whale category.
Yeah,
they're like these
whale.
morons will spend anything.
Yeah, definitely.
They got me though, dude. They got me.
Change our lives, man.
That UFO, that's crazy. That was that levitating UFO right there.
All these knickknacks shit that you bought just because you got an ad.
I can't stop. I need help.
You did get a bunch of like swords or something, right? There was like a point where
Swords?
I don't remember.
one
Yeah, I
behind them
remember
on
the point
the-
being like, I
swords
got this
everywhere.
Instagram ad and now I have it.
You're the grandmother buying the 9/11 coins.
Well, I got a bunch of those. What do you mean? No, I don't have any of those. I do have a bunch of like
Signature Trump coins.
Signature Trump coins, and they have like the American flag on the back. No, I have the Canadian ones. I like the maple leaves.
Really?
The actual gold.
Yeah.
The gold like.
No, not
ounce
gold,
or
silver.
yeah.
And I always get the Canadian ones because there's something just awfully cute about a country being like, look at our maple leaf. You know, it's like it's the most inoffensive and like
That's how we get you, man. That's
It's
how you buy
true.
our silver.
that's right.
And they were just talking about trying to unload some silver on
The
suckers.
Royal Canadian.
But I-
Mint's
but I-
falling
I-
on
Bad
us.
batch of silver they need to unload.
But I'm imagining it's like, you know, a bunch of gangs are showing up to like the street fight, and one guy's like, I got a falcon. Another guy's like, I have a spear. And then Ken is like, we've got some maple leaves. And I'm like, what are you doing? So I love it.
We throw
high
them
off
at you
sugar,
and then
man.
it blinds them, and then what? Well, that's kind of we haven't thought of the rest out.
Yeah,
No,
that's
what
about
people
it.
don't get is that as soon as the fight starts, they drop the maple leaf and they're holding maple syrup and they throw it in your eyes.
Yeah,
And you're like,
they're blinded, yeah. It's this extra thick stuff.
That's where it all came from.
Maple syrup in the eyes
Actually-
there, bud.
Hold on, this is true. There's maple taffy. Do you
Yeah,
guys?
yeah, of course.
Yeah, so there's a bunch of things you do. I went to a maple farm recently, so I learned this.
Nice.
If you dry out the maple syrup a lot, you get a paste. You get like a goo, like taffy, and it's like sticky and
Yeah, it's a big thing. You go to the sugar bush and then they tap the trees or whatever,
Yeah.
and then they like put it on the snow.
Yes, right.
Eat it off
It's
the
great.
snow. It's a Canadian tradition.
All right. Well, let's
of course,
delicacy.
of course. Yeah,
let's
it's the
jump to
most
this.
Canadian thing you ever did.
Let's jump to this story. We have a tweet from Patrick Bet David. It's a redemption arc for Chris Cuomo. Patrick Bet David tweets, Chris Cuomo trending for being open to the idea of voting for Trump. People are losing their minds over this, and he is certainly correct. Let's play the clip. It's about 2 minutes long. We'll play a little bit of it.
If it's Biden, Trump, look, for me, again, we survived a Trump administration. Would we survive another one? Yes. Yes. I don't think there's any greater risk to America with him than with Biden. And for people who are now going to attack me and say, what are you talking about? Trump is like this crazy man. Well, look, you know, as Patrick says, the data is the data. Nobody was trying to kill us when Trump was president in a way that they're not now. If anything, there's more hostility. And you can have reasons for that any way you want. I'm just saying, existentially, I'm not afraid of a Trump presidency. Existentially, I'm not afraid of another Biden presidency because, unlike many people in America, I believe that the country is much stronger than any individual leader. We survived the Russia thing. We survived January 6th. We survived having Biden as a gaffe machine. We survived Congress going after each other and doing nothing for the rest of us. We survive these things. Are we better for it? No. Should we be doing things differently? Yes. I think it happens. I don't know when. I don't even know why. But, you know, in terms of who I'm going to vote for, I would really have to see where we are at that moment in time. And
so you're open to Trump vote?
I am always open. And I'll tell you this. People say, oh, bullshit, you've never voted for a Republican in your life. Wrong. And not only...
We get it. He's trying his redemption arc.
At first, I was afraid. He just breaks into the Chris Cuomo music.
That's the official death of the Cuomo-sexual tattoo right there. Anybody who has one, they watch this and go,
yo,
all right, I was on the fence, but I'm getting that thing lasered off.
All those shirts. I kind of want to buy one now.
Like LeBron when he went to the Heat and everybody's burning their Cuomo-sexual shirts.
Cuomo-sexual.
That stinks for being a Cuomo-sexual right now.
You suffered through Andrew, now Chris is forsaking you?
Yeah, it was. What is it? Chris or Andrew wants to be governor again or something? Oh
yeah, I think he maybe wants to be mayor of New York City.
You guys are still in New York, right?
Yeah.
Is it because you have something wrong with you?
They all
no New York. Trip.
No, those guys all kind of like they lose one election and by the end of it they're just like campaigning to be like a condo board president. There's like I need some position.
Power.
Yeah, I need some power. Position. The library board.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
New York's one of the sickest cities in the world.
You're right. It is sick. It's awful. You think Chris Cuomo is just trying to find his redemption arc?
He's already been doing that.
Well,
no,
he was
he's
making
not
$10 million a year at CNN. I'm sure he's trying to like some sort of paycheck.
He's also like podcasting now. He realizes this, his just like whatever the mainstream thinks I think is not going to work anymore. So he's trying to show that he has nuance.
No. It's quite the opposite. He's the whatever the mainstream thinks I will say. That's what he was. No. And now that he's going into the podcast space, when he's actually dealing with real people, it's the independent voter base is 2-1 Trump over Biden. So all he's doing is adapting to the environment he's in now.
Yeah.
He's doing the exact same thing.
Well, that's what I just said. Yeah.
And no one ever challenged him at CNN.
But
I'm saying if he was still at CNN, he wouldn't be saying this. That's
right. I agree. My point was simply the podcast world is the mainstream, and he's simply doing the same thing. He's just towing the line for whatever the popular narrative is.
I would even say it's maybe less so just mainstream, not mainstream. It's like if you're going to be doing these 3-hour interviews with all different sorts of people, you have to sort of show that you have some nuance, and he wants people to see him as a reasonable guy and listen to his podcast. That's how I see it.
People have asked me if I would have him on, and I'm like, yeah, I'd love to. The first question is, why did you fake being in quarantine?
Yeah, that's when you watch that video, him coming up out of his basement and be like, oh, I never left the house. And then people are like, but we saw him outside. But his son is watching him lie. And just his son's face is just so so much disrespect.
Don't
on
get
his
Ian
kid's
started
face.
on lying to kids right now.
Hey,
really?
this guy will never come on this show.
That you can
listen. Cuomo will never come on the show.
I think he would.
He will. He for sure will.
Because the first question is, why did you fake being in quarantine?
Maybe not after you
but now that you said that, he's got tons of time.
And then I'm absolutely going to say it. And the second question is, do you think your children are worse off for having watched you lie on television that way?
No, I think they're better. Well, that's a good question. But I think that his kid might be a big part of the reason why he's not doing it anymore.
I get people saying, "Oh, Tim, when you insult these people, now they won't come on your show." I'm like, "Oh, like okay, too bad." What this dude did was contributing to psychotic, authoritarian, just government fascistic Nazi garbage.
I think people are breaking out of the empire. Like they're shattering their allegiance to the empire, and by that I mean like the dark empire of Star Wars. And they're coming too, and they're definitely willing to be like, "Yo, maybe this rebellion ain't so."
I just
bad.
think he'd go back. I think CNN could offer him
in a second.
Right.
He's from a political, like huge political family. Like he, in his mind, he's like, yeah, you lie because it's for the greater good.
And he's
like
in New York.
mind.
That's like where all of his connections are. They're all probably still attached to CNN. Like it's not only his like life, religion, and social circle. It's how he values himself. So he might do this right now. But if CNN was like, "We'll cut you like a quarter of the check we gave you," he'd be like, "Okay, sounds."
I think he would go back and be the weatherman if they gave him that check. Literally.
If he really did want to come on the show, knowing I will ask him all these questions, I would respect that 100%.
Yeah.
That'd
I mean,
be
I think
cool.
if he's going, I haven't seen the whole Patrick Bet-David, but if he went on there for 3 hours, I can't imagine he was getting. Patrick Bet-David does not do the kid gloves treatment. So
Agreed.
Yeah.
And that's kind of wild to me because I feel like Patrick Bet-David actually goes harder than I do.
He does,
Like
yeah.
when he brought out the boots for Ron DeSantis. Like, wow, dude. Like, Patrick Bet-David is awesome. That was amazing. I would never do that. It's like, I don't know if I have the balls to pull out a pair of boots and be like, put them on, Ron. You know what I mean?
Take your.
I try to
I
be
can't
a
accept gifts. I can't accept gifts.
I'm willing to ask the question, but I don't know about actually like put them on.
Patrick Bet-David's
That was
literally
awesome.
like, all right, we're going back to back, shoes off right now.
Yeah. Push-up
Settle this.
competition.
Let's settle this.
Yeah, he's
Yo,
big.
that was awesome.
He's real big and muscular.
Yeah,
and he's got that vibe. Like I'm a soldier.
Yeah,
Kinda.
he is.
He was
Oh,
a
yeah.
soldier.
Yeah.
Dude. Yeah,
Dude's
great
hardcore.
show by the way. And man,
Yeah, you've been on his show.
several times. It's amazing. He's a good dude, and I really respect and appreciate how he brings these people on, bringing on Wiener, bringing on Cuomo.
That was a great episode of Wiener. Did you guys
And
see
he calls him
the
out.
Wiener breakdown?
That was a wild
no
one.
freebies, no freebies. He calls him out, so I respect it.
I tend to think like I'm my own worst enemy, and that if I do talk crap about people before I even give them a chance, that I'm ruining my own pathway, my own career. So I err on the side of, hey, maybe Chris is down to jam, man. Let's talk about the weird stuff. Let's talk about what life was like at CNN and make a better career.
He'd be an interesting guest to talk about like what was life at CNN, because obviously we have a lot of strong opinions about it in the mainstream media generally. But I think it would be, it would be unlikely that he would come on again, because I think so much of it is tied to I eventually want to end up back in the hive.
Yeah.
It is possible, though. It's the other way, where he actually hated what his job was for the last 4 years,
Wouldn't that
where
be
it was like,
great?
here's what you got to do.
He got
And
paid
He
so
comes
much.
on there
yeah,
and
it,
it's like
it is
$10 million
possible that
a year,
like
probably.
behind closed doors, he was going home and he's like, I got to say this friggin' garbage at work. Like he might have not liked that.
That would have been cool. And if he could come on and tell us that, I would like it a lot.
Yeah, I accept that. Like we talk about Bud Light and how we want to be mad at Bud Light for sponsoring Dylan Mulvaney, but now that they're sponsoring UFC, credit to Sean Strickland, who pointed out they're now backing the opinions of all these MMA fighters who are based.
Yep.
Now it's kind of like, okay, I think we got to give Bud Light a little bit, because we don't get the apology we want, but them backing UFC, they're going to be putting money behind the words of all these MMA fighters.
Yeah.
That's like a big victory.
Yeah, I was sort of saying this even before we started, but I'm a fairly forgiving person for that kind of stuff. Like I don't hold the opinion that if someone screwed up or said something I don't like or whatever, that forever you're just like, that guy's off limits.
You got to give them a path to redemption. So if we say to Bud Light, no matter what you do, we will never buy your product, then they're going to say, okay, well, at least we can capture a small market if we go back the other direction towards the left. If we say, you know what, Bud Light, you sponsored UFC, so we're actually going to start buying again, then they're going to be like, sponsor more of this stuff. And that means they're going to put more money into people we do like and opinions we do like.
I guess
So-
you're talking about the actual basis of, voting with your dollars.
Exactly. So we want these companies to sponsor things we like and stop doing things we don't like. So when Disney makes a whole bunch of weird woke movies and they fail, we don't got to do anything. We just don't have to watch their crap because we don't like it. They get the message and they put out to their investors like, hey, we're doing something wrong.
And then
So with Bud Light, does that mean that you would only buy Bud Light at like a UFC event? Because if I assume they separate their grocery sales, right?
I will buy Bud Light the next time we get a UFC fighter with the Bud Light symbol and he says something. And then Bud Light just accepts it. Because what I'm worried about is Sean Strickland will come out at a press conference for like a championship fight or whenever he's fighting next. And he's going to say, here are my thoughts on politics, XYZ, ABC. And then Bud Light goes, we do not support these opinions and we reject this. Then I'm going to be like, okay, that's the test. If the guy says it and people go, Bud Light, why are you sponsoring this? And Bud Light ignores it, I'll buy Bud Light.
Yeah, I think they will. I think they've probably decided that they know this is going to happen, and probably that's the rehabilitation is by saying like, "Yep, we sponsor the UFC." That's
we don't sponsor the individuals. We're just here for UFC. The fighters can say what they want. I'll be like, I'll take it.
I mean, you hope they would have learned their lesson.
Yeah,
You might call it an A/B test. Get it, Anheuser-Busch. It's such a lame joke.
You made a good point a while ago, Ian. You said that
You lost the confidence.
Yeah,
as
I said
you
it
were
too
saying
late,
it.
too.
You're like,
Ian made a point a while ago that sometimes you'll work with evil people to do good, and he's completely correct. The motivations of the Anheuser-Busch people may be absolutely nefarious. In fact, let's bring it back to Cuomo. Cuomo may be a lying, manipulative piece of garbage who is going on PBD and trying to lie to people to win favor. And you know what? Doesn't mean I trust him. But when he's saying he's open to voting for Trump, and now there's a lot of people who are going to be like, you know what, I'm willing to listen
You
now.
think he saw Rappaport getting all the press for it, and he's like, I could, I could be,
But look,
getting some news stories here.
He may be an evil guy, but if what he's doing contributes to good, I'm not going to condemn him for doing something that's beneficial.
Yeah,
that's good.
a lot of people have been roped up in this system, this corporate fascist system, and it's understandable. There's a lot of money. You get famous. You can give your kids good, healthy food. They can grow up smart, but it is nice to see people cracking out of it.
Yeah, I don't know if I trust him, but I think he said something good. So okay, all right, take it. Even if he's just open to it.
Yeah.
This what we see with like him and Rappaport, awesome.
And
I
it's
bet
good
you.
to-
Sorry.
No, you go.
Well, I just bet you a guy like him. It's like you break down all this stuff. He's not crazy ideologically. I bet this is just a guy.
I think it's good
Yeah,
for his like fans to see him say this stuff,
Right.
Because people who thought he was, the pizza saint
well,
of good
the
news.
diehards are probably
No, he's giving him an
pretty
out.
upset. Yeah,
He's giving him an out. So now these people are going to be like, well, I was listening to Cuomo. He made a really good point. So now I think I kind of get it. It's like as long as there is someone in the mainstream who's prominent and well off saying it, people will feel safe to be like, oh, don't look at me. I mean, Chris Cuomo is the guy. I mean, I'm just some dude who listens to the news. He's the one who said it. They're feeling like it's safe now to come out and say these things.
Yeah.
So I'll take it, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of people that have come out in the last 2 years have been like, bring back Trump. I mean, all of the Palestine stuff turned everyone against Biden.
Wild, dude. They went to the Rockefeller Christmas tree lighting and they were chanting "Burn it down."
yeah.
It's like, dude, you don't take Christmas away from people.
Yeah.
Like the conservatives went nuts over the war on Christmas. They were angry over Happy Holidays. You want to send a bunch of people screaming "Burn it down" to a giant Christmas tree?
And it caught on fire last year, so it's too soon.
That's true.
I don't
Yeah.
understand.
Yeah, that's your point. If you want to say a good thing about New York, though, because you're saying New York's so crappy, but the good thing is sometimes you'll be on Twitter and you'll be like, oh, they're like rioting, and it's like 2 blocks away. You can just go check it out.
That's a good thing. Yeah.
It's fun. It's topsy-turvy world right now. You're about to see Sean King in a MAGA hat standing outside at the top climbing the Christmas tree.
Well, with the Israel-Palestine stuff, yeah, it's getting weird.
Buddy, I saw Jonathan Greenblatt doing an interview. He was calling people snowflakes. Like
Well,
topsy-turvy world.
you've got Media Matters attacking the Anti-Defamation League because the ADL was like, Elon's all right because he's banning from the river to the sea. And then Media Matters is like, Israel is bad. How dare you? ADL, what are you doing? And I'm like, Media Matters and the Anti-Defamation League are like at odds with each other right now.
Hell
That's
yeah.
so wild.
Love to see it.
Love it. Love it.
Cancel each other and just most disappear. No, Jonathan Greenblatt, he was literally being like, kids are too sensitive right now. And they need their
safe spaces.
safe. Dude, he was like doing a Bill Maher monologue. It was crazy.
Let's jump to this story. We got this from Business Insider. Trump, who's railed against Black Lives Matter for years, now says he'd be very honored to have its support. That's actually phrased rather poorly. He actually said, thank you for your support. And so basically you've got this former BLM, Black Lives Matter leader who said the Democratic Party is not for us. He says he's for, we got this guy. Fisher, introduced by Fox as a co-founder of Black Lives Matter Rhode Island, said, personally, I love the man. I mean, how could you not like a real man? How could you not relate to someone like that? Trump then wrote on Truth Social that he had spoken with Fisher, who he called a great guy, says very honored to have his and BLM's support. Trump said before claiming to have done more for black people than any other president, Lincoln, and off-disputed remark he's regularly made in the last few years. Now we've got, let me see if I have this one. It's from Matt Walsh. Where we go? Here we go. Matt Walsh took the Trump BLM situation. In no situation should Trump be thanking a Marxist terrorist organization. If DeSantis thanked BLM, Trump fans would never stop talking about it ever. Says when honest people hear Republican thanking BLM, they should be asking questions about what the person really stands for. Completely disagree. Trump is smart. It was the smart play. Black Lives Matter did not endorse Trump. Trump is trying to make people think they did. because he's trying to PR manipulate people.
Yeah, he's sort of saying black guys love me. Yeah.
Exactly.
It's also sort of misleading in general. You know how there's the bunch of the different libertarian parties, and then there's a couple of them that are just like super, like say way wilder stuff.
Yeah.
And then people always kind of, they'll be like, oh, the libertarian party's out of control, but it'll be like a small part of it. This is the same thing. This is the one BLM chapter saying they like Trump. The other one's posting
was the
hang
one guy.
gliders.
But it's one guy. It's one. Yeah, they're
one guy.
posting the gliders.
Yeah, like
from
they're
Hamas.
very. That's what I mean. They have
this-
like a million different chapters.
Trump knows the media. This is how he gets it, because what's going to happen is some suburban wife is going to be sitting with the other wine moms, and one's going to go, "Did you hear Black Lives Matter endorsed Trump? What was that?" Like
That means we endorse Trump.
Yeah.
Well, it's going to open the door for people to be like, "I guess Trump's not that bad."
Well, they have their shelf with like BLM and like a Trump with his face crossed out, and they're just like, huh. This puts us in a bit of a bind.
And to Matt Walsh's point that if DeSantis thanked BLM, he'd get roasted. Maybe, but I don't think by most people. And this shows exactly why DeSantis has been struggling with it, because DeSantis doesn't understand. The DeSantis campaign doesn't get people. Donald Trump thanking BLM, I'm like, wow, Trump's winning. If Ron DeSantis did the same thing, like someone from BLM endorsed Ron DeSantis and he said thank you, I'd be like, very good. Very, very good of him to embrace those who are supporting him. The fact that they view it that way explains exactly why DeSantis' campaign has been sliding.
yeah, I
to the
think
gutter.
there's a part of it is to make an omelet, you got to break a few eggs, and in this case, Matt Walsh being mad, he used the egg. You know what I mean? And
I was wondering if it was
DeSantis
supposed-
would be afraid to break any of those eggs.
Yeah. I
Well,
was wondering if it was
real
the
quick,
opposite
DeSantis is done though, right?
DeSantis is not going to Amfest. And so this was something Jack was talking about this last night, right? Pretty sure.
Man, I wonder
That they
It was a conversation and it ended.
Yeah, they
It's
invited
not
him, and then
happening.
he's like, "I'm not going to come." And it's like, you're trying to win a primary. Why aren't you coming to this massive event with all of these people? I mean, Tucker Carlson's going to be there. Like, basically, everybody's going to be there. It's an opportunity. If he showed up, we'd all shake his hand and be like, "You're the best governor in the country. We love your work." Instead, he's like, "I'm not going to do it." It's wild.
I got to prepare for my debate with some guy that's not even running.
Yep. Crazy.
I got a session with my cobbler. Those things are long.
Well, apparently, the rumor is he bought inserts. He bought when he's like they're off the rack Lucchese boots. Yes, and so were your inserts off the rack from some other store. You jammed them in there. But dude, come on, the guy's wearing high heels, man.
Yeah.
It's crazy. They're sabotaging.
Maybe
angles.
that's why he can't go to Amfest, because Charlie Kirk is like also 100 feet tall, and
Like-
so if he stands next to him, it'll look kind of off.
if he
That's
went to
not
Amfest,
the craziest
can't
theory,
live
though.
like that, though. You can't just
This is
live
my
like that
theory,
for the
like,
rest of
I-
your
Tell that
life.
to Tom Cruise and Vin Diesel and Mark Wahlberg, man.
Yes, but they're only, I guess.
Find a
they're only on
picture of
camera,
that
though.
guy beside Nick
So
Cage
what?
where he's not in an apple box.
That's why I think DeSantis won't come on this show, because
like, so
Tim
what-
is fairly tall. I'm 5'9". Like he
Yeah,
couldn't.
but PBD's tall, and he actually
Yeah.
pulled the boots and slammed them on the desk.
know,
They
but
were
like, so we
might have done the
sitting.
He
David
becomes
Blaine,
the
though.
president and he goes, "Hey, we need like a 15/16 scale Oval Office. We just need to make it slightly
Well, they
smaller."
put the panel on the front of the desk in the Oval Office to hide the wheelchair, so it's not the craziest thing we've ever done.
Oh, that's when they added the panel.
To hide the wheelchair.
But
Because if you look at pictures of Kennedy, there's a famous picture of his son playing under the desk. You can see it, but then the panel.
But that's because that's actually a different desk. The original desk, it has that secret compartment with the writing in it.
Oh, yeah.
So you can track down the Declaration of Independence or the treasure or whatever. What was the treasure in that movie anyway?
I never saw it. Talking about American
National Treasure?
Yeah.
National.
Talk about like the greatest movie series
That
of all
was
time.
that first one was.
You know what? If we can
How many,
convince
they did
Ron,
3 of them or 2?
if we can convince Ron to go to Amfest and do a skit about the boots, that's really funny, and then he'll just be a rock star. That's it.
No, he can't because
rock
no,
stars.
bro.
That is the way.
Listen,
that
he-
might
he-
go not the way he thinks.
Yeah.
He's
No,
like,
dude.
you guys all saw my boot sketch, and everyone's like, "Ooh."
he can't do it because the boots are real. If
Are you sure though?
Oh, come on, dude.
But the Wikipedia says he's anywhere from 5'5" to 5'11".
I heard he's on actual stilts in
I don't
interviews.
understand. Let me
He's on
see
another
how tall he is.
person's back.
Listen.
There's a smaller Ron DeSantis.
There's
like
there's
5'7"
there's
or
that video of him
5'11".
on stage where you can clearly see his foot. The front of the shoe is bent up. There's no foot in there.
Yeah.
So come on, like there are way too many news stories breaking down various photos, and they actually even talked to cobblers who are like, "Oh yeah, those are lifts, no question."
Says he's 5'8" to
Oh, once the cobblers
5'11".
come in.
Cobblers have never been interviewed this much in their lives.
Dude, he was walking home from the club holding them in his hand.
But so the point is, if it was not true, he could do a sketch and it would be hilarious. He'd show
Yes.
up and then he'd show up with the boots on.
It wouldn't be a sensitive issue.
Well,
Right,
I guess this is
fact
the make or break moment.
It's
I'm
not a skit.
assuming it's not.
He would be exposing that he's wearing high heels if he does the skit.
Okay.
He did really sign him up to wear those high heels for the rest of his life.
Yeah, you're like
He's gonna die in
you
those
can't
now.
undo those. Be incredible though if he debates Trump and then Trump shows up in his own heels just to further it. Yes, you really are small, huh?
Well, right. So, the point of the heels is basically to make him appear taller against other candidates. So if Trump wore like 4-inch lifts,
Yeah, just
it'd make him look really short. And he'd be like, I'm wearing the same boots as Ronnie over here, little Ron, they call him.
We've gotten so much content out of Ron DeSantis' lifts.
Whoever put him in those lifts, it was the worst move they ever made.
I could not have imagined this would be one of the major political talking points going into this year.
I could. Come on.
Because no one even cared.
I had no idea how tall Ron DeSantis was.
The Howard Dean woohoo. There's a whole bunch of wacky political
But you
moments.
couldn't have predicted the lifts. I mean, come on. That's just so
I know. I'm
funny.
saying the fact that there's a weird moment where some candidate did something goofy, that's that's what happens. Like Mitt Romney and
That's
the
not
dog
weird
or
to me.
whatever.
It's
I mean,
the
we talked
lift
about Trump's
specifically.
hand size for 4 years. So
yeah, that's a good point.
things do get overanalyzed.
That's so weird. Like his hands, they made up that thing about his hands. It's just like, does that work for people who don't like Trump?
They did it for Napoleon. They said he was short. They used different measurements.
Well, no, that's
He's a little
because
guy.
the Imperial Guards are tall, and so people would often compare him in paintings to tall Imperial Guards. Like, oh, he must have been short, and he wasn't.
And now we
The
just talk
English
about
loved
King
it.
Charles's hands.
Right.
Like the English
Those
would
are
say
weird
he was
hands.
short.
They
even
are
though
Those
they didn't.
are
Something
crazy
seems
hands.
wrong.
There's something going on there. Yeah, I think those are weird sausage hands.
I'm
Get into
like,
small places on the island.
someone comes to me and they're like, Donald Trump wants to fire a bunch of people. He wants to secure our borders, bring back manufacturing, end foreign wars. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then the left goes, Drumpf? You mean with little hands? And I'm like, I don't understand. Like, is that an argument? I don't get it.
It was to them. That was very clever.
Is this
Right, I
why those
know.
like plastic little hands that people used to wear? I used to see those on TikTok all the time.
Yeah.
Like yeah. Did he accidentally make something cool by himself?
Trump hands?
Does it turn out he has just big hands or normal hands or something?
He probably has normal hands, and someone took a shot at his hands, and then he gets super defensive about stuff. Like he goes, "I got normal hands, totally." Like, and then he makes a whole thing. I don't know. And then
the
it just,
most normal.
and then probably
hands you've
SNL
ever
was like
seen.
did a couple sketches about the hands, and then I don't know, just the hands become a thing.
Well, no one's talking about
Why-
the hands now with the boots in the,
No,
in
look.
the equation.
Guys, in a few minutes, the debate with DeSantis and Newsom is going to start. And I honestly, I cannot care. I part of me is like, there's this news thing happening and like, maybe we should check it out. And I'm just like,
Pants lifts.
but nothing matters.
The only thing
None
that
of it
matters is something about the boots
Well,
comes
the
out.
reality is, do you think that they're not going to push Gavin Newsom to become the nominee?
They
'Cause
are.
I think they are. So that's what this is like take a look at
Gruesome
Newsom.
Newsom?
Yeah, gruesome Newsom.
Yeah, like just like seeing how he polls against DeSantis.
This is
maybe,
like they're both down, they're crouched, the gunshot has gone off, and then they just take off running, and this is it. This is the moment when the run just starts.
and this is airing on Fox only.
I
Yeah,
guess so.
because it's Sean Spicer's show, and then he just agreed to host a
Josh
debate.
Spicer has a show on Fox now.
They're trying to appeal.
No, Hannity.
Oh,
right?
Hannity.
So they're trying to
I mixed
appeal
these up.
Newsom to the right wing now. They want the conservatives to see
going
Gavin
on?
Newsom's a
Newsom.
good gaslighter,
What's
man.
Fox
That
up
guy's
to
a,
with this?
Honestly, if you find yourself listening to Newsom, he can convince people of things, man. He is a good speaker.
Yeah.
So what's going to happen? Because Biden doesn't want to
Before
step down.
you listen to Newsom for an hour, you're like, maybe California is crushing it.
As you're walking on the street, stepping, you got human crap all over your
Dude,
legs.
we gotta watch it because the way that California and Florida handled COVID is so diametrically opposed.
Who even cares about that anymore?
I
though?
know.
Like,
Look,
there's like
we all
World
know.
War III's about to break.
dude,
out.
the
Who cares about COVID?
It's like two guys are going to debate whether or not you should mow your lawn. I'm like, okay, I don't know.
I'll tell you why we should watch it because our consciousness is affecting reality in real time. It's like when you watch a basketball game, your perception is altering those players, and we can alter that debate.
I don't think so, I don't think so, Ian.
Oh, you can. I watched the Cavs come back from a 3-1 deficit and win the championship.
you
Watch
will-
DeSantis'
you
Cavs
willed
come
that?
back
There's
after being
videos on
those
YouTube
lifts.
of me willing it. It's real. Yeah, I was
Don't
like,
you think there was someone else willing the Golden State to win?
not as powerful as me apparently. I was willing LeBron. Like he's from my hometown, Akron.
Oh, you're from Akron?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Cuyahoga Falls. And I shouted his name in a video, and it echoed through the room in this wild way.
Well, that proves it.
Okay.
There's some deep manifestation going on, and then they just picked it up.
I bet there was some guy who had like 20 G's on the Cavs who was manifesting it way more than you were. But
Listen, the only one who
manifest.
the only one who benefits from this debate is Newsom. I don't care to benefit Newsom. They're trying to swap him in. They want to replace Biden with Newsom. So Newsom should not get any credit in any way.
What happens if
he's irrelevant? He doesn't matter, and I don't care what,
What
he has
happens
to say.
if Biden won't step down? Does the DNC just like go behind Biden's back at the last minute and say
Yes.
it's Newsom?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's too late for Newsom to get on any primaries, or several of the primaries, which means he can't win unless the DNC just hereby decrees, and they can. They can say, no, we're making Newsom the nominee regardless. There's no primary process. Have a nice day. So what we don't want, this debate with DeSantis, this is why I think DeSantis...
Are they literally allowed to force him out?
It's a private organization. They can do whatever they want.
The DNC gets to pick their candidate.
The DNC is private.
It's insane.
Yeah, they choose. But it's not insane. It's like...
weird.
Even as an incumbent, though, I mean?
Yes.
Yeah, I think you should
So
do that.
ask me this question. Can Timcast fire whoever... Can I fire whoever I want?
Yeah.
Yes.
Can you fire someone right now?
Yes.
But like, will you?
No.
Like, can you please fire someone right now?
Stop talking.
My point
They
is...
don't have to be here. They can be
Go to
someone
the
in
DNC,
organization.
a private organization, and be like, can you nominate whoever you want? Well, of course. Your votes don't matter.
Yeah.
But
They
the
just do that.
RNC can't, correct?
No, the RNC is a private organization, too.
I thought for some reason in like 2016, the Bernie was the favorite, but the DNC was like, yeah, but we're making Hillary the nominee. But for whatever reason, the Republicans couldn't do that to Trump.
It's because they're trying to have some semblance of you're involved. Because if they just outright say no to the people, then everyone knows that there's no real elections. So actually, the Democrats wanted Trump to be the nominee. The Republicans were like, I think we're going to lose this one anyway. So what can we do? And then Trump won. But now look at what they're trying to do. They're like the entire establishment is trying to get Trump out. The fact that they went behind Trump,
Biden, get Biden out?
No, Trump. They're trying to get Trump out. That's why DeSantis is debating Newsom. It's giving legitimacy to Newsom. It is absolutely the stupidest thing in the world that these guys would be debating. Even all the corporate press, they're like, it's a very unusual event to happen.
It's not working, whatever they're trying to do.
No, it's not.
No, it's very bizarre.
I can't tell from the chat if anyone even cares.
Let me say this. My conspiracy theory, and Jack was saying something similar. A Trump DeSantis ticket would have been unbeatable.
Yep.
Until DeSantis decided to lead the great American comeback and put on high heels.
Won't let you down.
Put on high heels, sent his surrogates to attack all of the moderate base and Trump supporters, sabotaging whatever career DeSantis could have had. And now Trump's going for Ben
It
Carson.
kind of was a guy that doesn't understand the internet that much, trying to run like a crazy internet smear campaign.
Or it was a guy who knew it really well and said, we're going to sink DeSantis and make sure he can never win again.
Oh, you're saying it's the other way around, where this was a smear job on him?
Well, Ron DeSantis was, in 2022, he was leading Trump 2-1. All of a sudden, now DeSantis is an afterthought who's mocked and a guy who's known for wearing high heels. How do you go from being the best governor in America, who is the front runner for the GOP, to all of a sudden being laughed at and mocked?
I think some of it's the culture changed in a way that didn't favor his sensibilities, which is just kind of looking at Twitter for what people want to hear, as opposed to having like a vision for what's next.
Perhaps, but he could have not engaged in like his surrogates could have perhaps not attacked people on Twitter. Like he could have fired them the moment they did.
But that's the part where I'm saying this is a guy that doesn't understand internet culture enough.
That's fair point.
Yeah.
No matter how many times
He has, you have the advisors. I mean, you have the advisors being like, no, trust me, this is what we do. And he's like, okay.
Yeah, there's something very like American, like almost like Rocky-esque about Trump kind of having his next shot. Like he's got this rubber match right now to kind of, last chance to basically be president.
There's
again,
a way of like, don't get it wrong versus get it right. And Trump's a get it right kind of guy. Whereas DeSantis is being concerned about getting it wrong. It feels like he's like, doesn't want to make a mistake. Whereas Trump's like, I'm just going to do the
More like
right
old
thing.
school politics almost.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's craft a narrative. But
I think,
the internet's so
and I think people
transparent.
thought for a minute to go, it's nice and peaceful that like Trump's gone. He's not like taking up all this bandwidth. And then I think people were like, nah, we kind of missed that actually.
I want to clarify.
Or it's hard to go back,
Someone
too.
super chatted when Ian said the Democrats can just choose and Republicans can't. What that refers to is a technicality. Democrats have superdelegates who are appointed and can just vote, and Republicans don't. But ultimately, these are private organizations that choose how they run and who runs and how they do it, and they could just do whatever.
But once they choose and everything's in order, the Democrats at the very last second, they all you can elect with the Democrats is not your candidate. You elect superdelegates to go pick the candidate for you.
Which can be anybody. No. You elect delegates.
Okay.
No.
The delegates elect the
No.
Go for it.
There's delegates and superdelegates. When you vote, you're electing delegates. Superdelegates are people like Hillary Clinton who just get to vote. They represent no one but themselves.
And can they override the
Yes.
delegates? That is so
Well, they don't
messed up.
override. They vote for what they want. So if you vote in your Democrat-run thing, your delegate goes and says, I'm going to vote for Bernie. And then Hillary walks out and goes, nah, I vote for me. And it's like, okay, well, there you go. Your vote's been nullified.
Do the superdelegates outnumber the regular delegates?
I don't think so, but I'm not entirely sure. But it doesn't really matter because there's enough superdelegates to overturn what the popular vote in the DNC
It is
would
so
have been.
messed up. But
Right.
the RNC doesn't have super delegates. It's so crazy that the DNC has super delegates that have like ultimate authority of choosing the
Yeah,
candidate.
but it's because they're
So
communists.
messed up. Yeah, it feels like that. It's so messed up. Like, come on, God, wait. If you're a Democrat in the Democratic Party, you got to get rid of those super
Well,
delegates.
the fact that
Probably
the
set up so that you just can't.
The fact that they're private entities that can basically do whatever they want is bad enough. People don't realize you don't have public elections.
Yeah, I need to get rid of those. Afuera.
Afuera!
When's he coming on the show?
I know, right? Let's get him down. That guy's great.
Does he speak English well?
I don't know. We'll have to learn Spanish
Not
for him.
yet. Yeah, he'll be learning it on the fast track the next
He's just
2
in New
years.
York,
Though.
so
Was he really?
yeah.
Oh, man, that guy's great.
This is his first trip he made.
All you need to do is send me one video of him saying afuera and ripping out government institutions. And I'm like, I don't know anything about this guy, but he's awesome.
That's Javier Milei, the president of Argentina. President-elect? Is he officially in now, or is he still the elect president-elect?
He's still president-elect. I think
Yeah.
they haven't had the inauguration yet.
I'm so
I think so.
excited. Things like that, things like
Get that
Javier
guy inside
Milei.
of Disney, man.
What's
the
that?
Department of Women. Afuera.
That gives me hope that things actually, like this simulation is sorting itself out, that people like that get into power.
Department of Adam Sandler movies. Okay, we'll leave that one up. Department of Diversity. Afuera.
Nothing wrong with the Sandman.
He's like afuera, and then he slaps one up, and it's like Adam Sandler movies.
He's getting two bureaucratic organizations.
Adam Sandler is just what do you say? He has like 10 Netflix movies or every year or some ridiculous thing.
Oh, buddy, he's making films.
He
And
just did
then
one with one of his kids too, right? Like now
Big
he's
hit.
with the whole
some
family.
smash hit,
Some
yeah.
bar mitzvah movie or something.
Under the radar, you never see it. You just go, you'll be like, hey, what were the 10 biggest movies? And you're like, what's that? And you go, Sandler film.
Yeah.
Yeah, but here's the thing about the 10 biggest movies. When we would talk about the 10 biggest movies 20 years ago, it's like, oh, of course. You know, like, oh, Lord of the Rings came out. Everybody knows that was big. Oh, Harry Potter. Now it's like, what are the 10 biggest movies? And you're
Jack and Jill 9.
you're like, Jack and Jill 9. And it's like, how many people watched it? 100,000.
No. It's more like.
Well, it's more, but you don't know
100
because
million.
well,
100 million?
No, I don't know.
They started figuring out streaming numbers.
Well, no,
a lot of places.
Netflix still is. That's
No
a
way it's
total
100
black
million.
box.
Yeah.
The thing is,
Can we get a fact check on how many people watch Sandler movies?
they might. I think.
Do you really
I think
think that
Netflix will
20
release
million people
hours
watch
or
Big Bang
something?
Theory?
Yeah. Big Bang Theory.
So the numbers Big Bang Theory had back when it was on was like 20 million on CBS. I don't
So
buy
I'm
it.
one.
I don't buy it.
Yeah. I mean, if 80, how
That's
many
a
people
bold
voted for Joe
confession,
Biden?
dude. That's
How many people
dangerous.
voted for Joe Biden? 84 million or something.
So here's the thing. That's
Yeah, then
actually
20
simple.
million people watch Big Bang Theory. I think.
Right, Joe. Fair, but But here's the issue with Joe Biden. Joe Biden did not get 85 million votes.
Yeah.
85 million people voted against Donald Trump.
Sure.
25% of that maybe were like, I think Joe Biden's good. For some reason, it probably exists. But really, it's like people just saying, I don't like Trump. The enthusiasm for Biden was like 25%, but the enthusiasm against Trump was like 96%.
I've voted for him 7 or 8 times.
December 2023, December 1st, 2023, Adam Sandler's movies have grossed an estimated $2.4 billion at the global box office.
No. But is that
What's
all?
the opposite of a
Wait. Is that of all time?
I think so.
I mean,
Because everybody knows
his
Happy
movies don't make
Gilmore.
any box office money anymore because I
Yeah.
don't think they're
His
released
highest
theatrically.
grossing movie of all time is Hotel Transylvania with a worldwide gross of $1.37 billion. What?
Yes, but that's
He made a movie. He made a deal at Netflix to make 85 movies.
Yeah, he
for
has
4
that
years.
But is Hotel Transylvania an Adam Sandler movie, or is it a movie he stars in?
I think he's EP on it.
Probably like
Yeah. Is he
really?
Probably like Happy
Yeah.
Madison.
But that's like
is the
that's an
production
animated kids film.
Yeah, it is.
So of course it's making a lot of money.
It's just kind of
They're
funny.
all
I
that.
wouldn't like think about
Here's the
this,
point.
like that he's constantly making this.
No, stop. Like Adam Sandler is fantastic. There's no question.
I'm just saying. I'm not even saying that. I'm just saying he's like low key in the shadows doing insane numbers.
But this is my point. When in today's day and age, when we're talking about the biggest shows, the numbers are just
That's correct.
shattered. It's
Especially the ones that win all the awards. Like, you'll be like, oh, this was like a big a critic's pick, and it was like 150,000 viewers.
Yeah.
right. So when
That's correct.
when he makes a movie for Netflix and it's like the top 10 movies on Netflix, like but what did it get? Like 300,000?
Yeah, they're
People
just
watch
pushing
Netflix,
it.
though.
Are they pushing
They
it to the
do,
top?
but
Like, does
what is that,
Netflix
like-
have a contract with them where they're like, you're going to make 9 movies and we're going to
He
put
has
them all on the front
literally
page?
every
Yeah,
single.
for sure. Yeah.
He has the CEO of Netflix's kid hostage in his basement, and he says,
No, he doesn't. He doesn't. That's the thing. It's like they actually do on Netflix, on the platform. Netflix is like, we give him, I think he gets 20 million a movie or something, like 50, whatever. He gets 20 million like after production costs, but like they do huge numbers on Netflix where they go, this is like a no-brainer.
Because that's like a cost that they're paying him that they're not actually paying him. Featuring his movie is like, that's
they
that's
produce.
marketing.
No, those are Netflix exclusive movies. They're not anywhere else. Those are like the movies that they make in house. They signed a deal with him, just like Netflix has all the Dave Chappelle specials.
and they film them around his vacation schedule.
yeah, it's
essentially.
like for him to go hang hang out with the boys, and then they bring
He brings the boys down to a new beach and does a beach movie.
Let me ask him questions. All right. How many of you have seen Extraction 2?
Never even heard of it.
I only watched the first one.
Nobody? Okay.
No, it's not
How many of you have seen Pain Hustlers?
Yeah, I saw Pain Hustlers.
Did you really?
I think so.
You just saw it?
I saw
Did
it
you
this
see it?
week with my parents.
No, I didn't see Pain
Okay, so
Hustlers.
for real, that's one.
I've heard of it.
How many of you have seen The Deepest Breath?
I literally haven't heard of one of these.
Okay,
so
okay.
far.
Nobody? How about The Mother? Nobody? Okay, let's moving on.
No.
How about Nowhere?
Nope.
All right. A Man Called Otto.
I've heard of that. That's
Nayad.
Tom Hanks.
No.
No.
Okay. Race to the Summit.
No.
Nobody? Okay. Plane.
Bad.
Okay. How about Joanne?
I know Joanna Man.
Okay. So those are the top 10 films based on this Unilad says these are the top 10 films of the year or whatever.
Gosh.
23
Best, but this says best, not the most.
according to viewers.
According to viewers.
So what is-
ratings though?
Streaming giants, next movie fans can still get access to some of the best releases. Yada yada yada. Facebook group rated these. My point is, I know it's really
There,
it's-
I can't fail with a Facebook.
But the thing is, Netflix does not divulge these numbers, like specifically.
right. So often you'll see on the top of Netflix, it'll be like number 6, and it'll be like top. My point is, there's a Facebook fan group. Maybe it's not the best metric. We can check others. We didn't even hear
Mothers Against Adam
nobody
Sandler.
Even,
It's not a. It's a
nobody
bias
even knows these
sample.
movies.
no.
None of them.
I mean, the biggest show on Netflix, I'm pretty sure, is Suits. Like, because for whatever reason, they just started throwing up Suits on the front page of a show that hasn't been on for a long time, and then they were like, "Yeah, it's done like 4,000 billion like minutes of watch time or whatever," and it just suddenly became the biggest
They're like
show again.
buying successful IP, right? And they're
I
like,
think
people
they
like
maybe
it. This
they
is
have
how
the
we
license for it, and then they're just crank it, and then people
Because
watch.
that was one
I mean,
of the-
still people watch it. They do. They're just like YouTube. Like they
Yeah.
want to keep
Okay.
you on the platform.
Let's try this.
I'll tell you, if any of those films are getting huge numbers, then my Rumble numbers are real.
Statista says most popular English language Netflix movies of all time as of October 2023. Red Notice. Heard of it, haven't seen it. This makes more sense. Don't Look Up,
Yeah.
saw it. Adam Project, saw it. Bird
That's a
Box,
Sandler movie
saw
right
it.
there, The Adam Project.
The Gray Man did not see it. We Can Be Heroes, no. The Mother, no. Glass Onion, saw it, but I saw that in theaters. Extraction 2, I did not see it. So
Where's Hubie Halloween?
No, but this one actually makes a bit more sense. So have you guys seen any of these movies?
I think I might have seen one of the Extractions. I'd have to see the cover. Is it Liam Neeson?
But they're claiming here too that like Don't Look Up got 171 million views. I don't believe that.
That's the numbers that I was kind of talking about. More in line with that.
I guess it's possible though.
How many subscribers?
I guess what counts as a view.
How many subscribers do they have?
They have worldwide. I want to say they have 500 million.
I've seen some charts that were saying the top movies were 250, 300 mil ish. Yeah.
They have 247 million paid subscribers worldwide.
And if they
So-
put it on
so-
the front
Yeah,
page
there's
every
no
time.
way. Like
You're saying-
almost every Netflix subscriber watched that movie.
No, right.
I didn't watch it.
Red Notice.
How long do you have to watch it for it to
That's
be
what
a
I'm
view?
saying.
You
What's a
like
view?
6
Yeah.
seconds and then you cancel off and they're like, hey,
Don't forget, there's 9 people on each Netflix account.
That's true.
So I'll let you guys. I'll tell you guys this too. For those that don't know, I think you guys probably do. You mentioned your Rumble views being real or whatever that point is. So companies love to make their numbers look bigger in any way possible. So what they'll do is they'll repost the same thing 12 times on every platform. And then basically people who scroll the feed hit it and they can turn one viewer into 10.
yeah, autoplay.
Twitter with the impressions, obviously. Is like,
One of my favorite things ever.
I agree with you that you've got to take all these numbers with a huge grain of salt. Yeah.
One of my favorite things ever was I was in a meeting with a media CEO and he was talking to a journalist and he's talking about the success of their company. He's got the YouTube pulled up on the TV and he says, "Listen, we've got 10 million subscribers." And on the screen, it says 3. And the journalist is like, "Wow." And I was like, "You gotta be kidding me." But so here's the trick. You create a channel, get a bunch of subscribers. Then you create you create a new channel and tell everyone to subscribe. Then you get 100,000. Then you create a new channel, everyone subscribe, 100,000. You keep doing that and you're turning one subscriber into 10. And then you can go and say, we have 10 million subscribers.
yeah.
That's a clever move that they all do.
They're not unique though. That's unique views is very different thing.
Nobody asks.
It's like fractional reserve banking, but like for views. Just
That's right.
keeps
Fractional
rolling
reserve
it.
viewing. I guess
Yeah,
you'd call
fractional
it.
reserve viewing. I don't know.
Let's we have this big news. Kind of been saving it for the end, but let's talk about this. Texas AG Paxton is suing Pfizer for attempted censorship and misrepresenting COVID-19 vaccination. This is wild. Of course, we always start these videos by saying, don't take medical advice from strangers and make sure you talk to a doctor about what's right for you. But according to Attorney General Ken Paxton, Pfizer misrepresented the efficacy of the vaccines. The lawsuit alleges that Pfizer gave the impression its vaccine would end the COVID-19 pandemic and that the company's claims of its shot being 95% effective were misleading. More than 366 million doses of Pfizer's original coronavirus vaccine were administered, et cetera, et cetera. We get all that. He says the facts are clear. Pfizer did not tell the truth about their COVID-19 vaccines, whereas the Biden administration weaponized the pandemic to force illegal public health decrees on the public and enrich pharmaceutical companies. I will use every tool I have to protect our citizens who are misled and harmed by Pfizer's action. Yo, this is wild.
That's cool. I think I heard Dr. Drew and Kelly Victory talking about that on Drew's show. Well, their show. They have a show together on YouTube. I think they've been talking about this like before. Like they knew this was coming. I don't know if they've mentioned Texas or any of that. And I don't want to misrepresent, but I feel like I've heard this coming down the pipe. And there's more data that'll be coming down the pipe about these things from the scientists I've been listening to.
Here's the crazy thing, right? So we also got this other information that came out earlier this morning that YouTube was colluding with the government to censor COVID-19. Misinformation, they called it. The only problem is you have actual board certified doctors on YouTube who are getting censored and banned for giving their medical opinions. I believe YouTube should be held civilly liable to anybody who was adversely affected by the medical advice YouTube gave. I believe it is fair to say that when YouTube announced their editorial guidelines on what was true medical information, they effectively gave that medical advice to individuals. So here, I'll give you an example. You were allowed on YouTube to advocate that people go into parking lots and get injected by strangers. You are not allowed to tell people not to do that.
Yeah.
If you said, I don't think it's safe, you shouldn't do it, you got banned.
Because they were not allowing the opposite opinion of it, you're saying.
Yep. So YouTube was making sure that the only thing people could hear was, go and do this thing. And anybody who challenged it,
I mean, I'd love that to happen.
Suspended.
Yeah.
So anybody, not every medication is for everybody. You might go to your doctor and they're going to be like, they ask you this all the time. Do you have any medicine allergies? Let's say someone might have. And all these YouTubers are like, what's the problem? Go and do it. Go and do it. Go and do it. Medical advice that YouTube said to give. And then someone go to a 7-Eleven parking lot. Turns out they were allergic and got sick. YouTube should be responsible for that.
Have you seen the test that YouTube? I got a strike or a warning on my channel.
For what?
For Alex Stein actually coming on my show. And then he was making a joke about the vaccine being safe and effective, but this was like 2 years ago. And then he was being sarcastic, but saying the right words. And then they gave me a warning. But then now they have a thing where they're like, you log in sometimes. And so I logged in and they go, you can take this test to get rid of your warning. And it had all these questions and they're all COVID related. And some of them are so confused. Oh man, I'll have to pull it up. You guys talk, I'll try and find it. But some of them were literally so confusing where I'm like, I don't even really like, some of these like a nurse, she took COVID and it said it made her like barren or something. And then like, is this allowed? And I'm like, I think not. But then it was, but it is because she's like a nurse and it's her own.
No. They said a personal anecdote is fine, but widespread theories are not. And it's like, how is the average person supposed to know any of this?
It's really confusing test like to take. Like I was like answering. I'm like, I don't know.
Do you think they give it to you to deter you from talking about it? You just
no.
it's
It's so weird. They're just like, we'll take do the test. It's 7 questions, and if you pass the test, then or if you take the test or whatever, then in 3 months, if you don't get another strike, we'll remove your warning.
Do you have to get 100% on the test?
I don't know. I think I did.
Nice work.
Thank you. Yeah, I cheated. No, I don't know if you have to. I think it might be like even if you take it, then they show you what the right answer is. I think you just keep going.
That's crazy. So anecdotal statements about doing something was okay, but widespread saying like
if you said like this thing does this thing to people, that's a no-no. But if you said I did this thing and this happened to me, they said that was fine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nonsense.
I feel like it's designed to make people be like, I don't want to lose. I don't want to get any strikes. Like, I'll just stay away from this topic entirely. So they're saying, oh, no, we are allowed to say whatever you want. We just make it so you live in fear and avoid it.
Okay, here's question 6 of 7 for me, okay? Jing is a nurse who makes educational health content. In her latest video, she shares that since getting the COVID-19 vaccine last year, she has had 3 miscarriages. She says that the COVID-19 vaccine made her infertile. And it says, select the correct answers. This video doesn't violate the policy because she's a medical professional. This video doesn't violate the policy because Jing is allowed to share her personal experience. And then the third one is this video doesn't violate the policy because Jing is not spreading medical misinformation.
So it would be the second one, according to Tim. And they just want to make sure.
I think that's what the answer was.
They want to make sure.
But I remember thinking, I'm like, I'm not sure because the previous questions were kind of the same, but they were like, no, you can't say this. It does violate these things.
You need a name like Jing to be able to get away with it, sounds like.
And she's a nurse, Jing the nurse, so.
Wow. So it's like a multiple choice test, and they're like, did you read the terms? Do you understand?
But they don't
the
ask you to
terms?
read anything in advance of this. They're not like, hey, read this thing and take the test. They're just like, take this test.
Huh.
And we'll take away your warning in 3
This
months.
is like, I'm glad it's been documented by humanity, because this is the first time in medical history that the widespread, first of all, global, they call it a pandemic, and mass media with the individual being able to say whatever you want to a crowd of 1 million people collided. That's a funny word, collide. So how are we going to handle it next time? What are we supposed to do?
And it's interesting because there were all these moments where we would say, like, the myocarditis that, like, suddenly was detected, especially among young men. And you would see it happening in different European countries being like, well, we think we're going to maybe limit this vaccine. They would start dialing back down. And the states would be like, no, that's not real. Like, that's a flu. It's a whatever. And then it became more and more pronounced that this was something that was happening internationally.
And like actual doctors, like Dr. J, he's like works at Stanford, and he's straight up like, yeah, that's like we should. And they're like, you're off.
That's what doesn't make sense.
We should do nothing.
He's an expert.
I'm not some staunch conservative. I think Republicans should come out and sit at a big table in a press conference and all just kind of look at each other and be like, we heard that liberals wanted to abort their kids. We're for this. Yeah, we're all for that. Democrats, please abort your children and thank you. And they get up and walk out. Like, make the point. Blue states, my point is, if people want to do these things, you have a choice to determine for yourself. The problem is the government authoritarianism.
Yeah, that's the big problem, is that the government was most likely involved in telling these companies what to censor.
Well, the government was colluding with YouTube. So the problem is always government mandates authoritarianism and censorship. When it comes to what should the people do, well, the people as individuals should decide, but we should restrict. We should vote for people who are not going to allow the government to do these things, to weed them out. That's what matters.
And have like systems where if that does happen, you know it's happening.
I mean, for sure, YouTube got their direction about this stuff. I mean,
it's a fact. The emails were released.
Yeah, exactly right. I mean, even still, YouTube has a policy where they still have COVID stuff. They say you can't say on YouTube that the vaccine makes you magnetic. That is a current strikeable offense.
Can I just say, like,
and it doesn't.
But
it does not make you magnetic.
I just kind of say, like, that's the stupidest, most insane thing ever.
Like, you'd think, like, you'd be like, yeah, the vaccine doesn't turn you into a pig. And they would say, hey, you can't say that. You're like, we know it doesn't, though. And you go, yeah,
but did you see all those videos where people would stick magnets to their arms? And then they were like, what's happening? I have a magnet on my arm. I was like, dude, it's called oil on your skin. That's it.
But, like, what's the harm in that? Like, what are they so worried about that this is going to spiral out of control?
Listen. I think you need to understand, right? The people who watch a show like this, and you guys, you guys have inner monologues, right? Like when you think there are words, and you think to yourself, because there are people who
I say everything I think. I don't have that. No,
there are some people who don't have inner monologues.
Two guys in my head fighting all the time.
And that's better. You have two. You have
bare knuckle boxing.
You have a dialogue.
The censorship guys in a full Nelson right now.
My point is, the way YouTube views things is, you guys might be smart enough to realize you're not going to become magnetic. But there are a lot of people who are not that smart, and they're going to believe it. Yeah. Now, my view is the decentralized view of let people believe what they want to believe. You should not be the authoritarian top-down government says so, because the government gets things wrong. And then what happens when that guy... Listen, this is the problem. The people who thought you would be turned magnetic get into government. And then they tell YouTube to censor people who believe the truth. That's why we don't want this.
I can't vote, but I would vote for Magnet Guy for president 1,000%.
I think Pfizer just needs to get Anheuser-Busch's marketing girl and starts presenting these things that, like, we know are adverse effects as positives. Like, girls, great new form of birth control. You won't get pregnant if you get the Pfizer vaccine. And they would do it. There are all kinds of women. I mean, obviously, I don't advocate this for myself. Everyone should have a family. But, you know, I think that there is a way they could spin this that's, like, super dark, but actually fits current narrative. That was like, this is a great idea. You want these things to happen.
I bet this is a debate that goes on deeply in the government, at the head of the government, at the head of YouTube, social networks, is like, how stupid are people? How manipulatable are they?
Because, should we ban
they do think there is like an element where they go like, you know, people are a danger to themselves. Mm-hmm. Like a cohort of the population, probably like a large segment of it is a danger to themselves, and we need to protect people from themselves. But then it just, again, like, you know, there's adverse effects from the stuff that they made you do.
We were talking before the show that, like, how many people does it take to create a movement? And it's like one. one guy can tell a bunch of people to do something, and then they all start telling people to do the thing.
Yeah, it's like with your thing with Santa Claus.
Big time. Santa
Yeah.
Claus, by the way, to have a conversation with your children. I'm not going to say it out loud because there's a lot of people listening. Question everything.
I walked in and Ian was Skyping with 2 kids. They were crying. And he was like, it's either now or never.
Danny wants me to be a Santa Claus
Someone's
at a
gonna
mall.
tell
and
you.
be
Yeah,
like,
so
"Hey, kid."
you should get a job as
Did
a
you
mall
know?
Santa, and then when the kid sitting in your life goes, "What do you want for Santa?" He goes, "I'm not real."
Yeah, the Santa Claus thing freaks me out. It's not that so much about Santa. It's about lying to children. Hey, come on, you can't.
No, see what happens.
You guys
is
at YouTube, you can't let people tell people that Santa Claus is real. That's misinformation.
That is misinformation.
Ian's going to be a
You're
mall
right.
Santa. The kid's going to sit in his lap and he's going to go, "I'm not really Santa. My name's Ian Crossland." And then the kid's going to go home and put up like Ian Crossland pictures. And, Mom, Santa's real name is Ian.
When's Ian coming down the chimney?
When's Ian coming?
He smelled funny.
There's a man coming down this chimney, takes it off. This was just a test. I'm not real. And you failed, kids.
This is kind of wild for me though, because I had older siblings, so I never thought Santa was real.
Yeah.
Lucky. I got humiliated at school because when I was like 11, I still thought he was real.
So now we know what this is all about.
But then you know what happened?
The truth comes out.
I went to my
Ian.
mom and I was like, okay, so you lied to me about Santa, so you probably lied about God too. So I thought that God was a lie for like 25 years after that.
Terrible memories of first year of high school.
It was deep, dude.
Showing
Mike
up to gym
Robb.
class. You guys pumped?
Mike Robb was like, "You idiot." My mom puts an orange in my stocking and all the kids laughed in the gym locker room in 5th grade. I was
And
like,
then finally, after he figured out Santa Claus
you
wasn't
were
real, he's like, at least we still have the tooth fairy, right, boys?
Did you like have one of those families like no TV kind of thing?
I was the oldest. No, I was the oldest, so they didn't know when to tell me. They were just letting it ride until I
Did they
found
like
out.
do stuff to like encourage it? Like, did they like? I know some families like to put like boot prints in the snow or whatever.
Yeah, they would have cookies half eaten at night. And I was like, yes, he is real, you guys. And all the kids were laughing. And like, Mike Robb definitely won that one. What's happening, Mike?
Well, anyways, we know the
Who was
motivations
that man
behind
that
this.
kept coming into my room?
All that stuff. The down the chimney, how the hell? We don't even have a chimney.
I
Didn't
love
matter.
that you're 11.
I've heard this a lot before. I heard this a lot before though from older kids in the family that they were made fun of for thinking Santa was real. But so my sister's 5 years older than me. As soon as I was like a conscious entity of some sort, she's just like, "There's no Santa."
Yeah.
And I'm just like, "Oh,
Yeah,
I
man,
don't
just
know what that means anyway."
face
So-
reality.
the presents are still coming, so just keep your mouth
Exactly.
shut. Just
And I
enjoy
would have
yourself.
been thankful to my parents if I'd known they were the ones buying it the
See,
whole time.
all of my younger siblings eventually confronted someone in our family with, because they're much younger than me, confronted us with some kind of evidence, like, "Oh, it's interesting that he wouldn't fit down our chimney," or they'd be like, "That wrapping paper looks familiar to me," or like whatever it was. Like, I think at some point kids naturally question this. Like, it's one
Not
thing.
Ian.
No, I trust
hold
my
on, hold on.
parents.
I gotta read the super chat. Adam Smith said that kids have their entire adult lives to be miserable. Let children believe in magic and enjoy childhood.
You know what?
No. Hold on.
Quantum physics.
No, let me answer this because this one actually is completely the inverse of my worldview. Children should have jobs. I'm not saying. You like that one, huh?
No,
Let the man cook, especially if they're in China.
Yeah. They don't have to work in
Someone's
mines.
got to make these Nikes.
They don't got to work in factories. They can deliver papers. They can shovel snow. They can mow lawns. The reason they're miserable as adults is because the world they were given as children was ripped away from them once they got older. Give them the world of reality as children, so when they grow up, they're not miserable because they're like, "This is the world. What do you mean?
And
Why would I be
expose
unhappy?"
kids to the magic of quantum physics. You want to talk about wild reality, man? Think of like the vibrating
The Coulomb
essence of the Higgs
crack.
field. Yeah, dude, Coulomb field. Like you want to make kids think about wild and crazy ideas. Give them science. That's the
See, I
nuttiest
think
dude.
it's fine to do the Santa. I just think it depends on how you present it. Like, having folklore is fine. It can be cultural. Like, you going out of your way to trick your children. Like, I don't like the elf on the shelf guy where they're like, he comes out and he like rips apart your kitchen and then we clean it up and we think it's funny.
Is that real?
That's elf on the shelf. Like, this is thing. And like at night he pulls pranks, but then it's like he just does these like messy, disastrous pranks. Like, that seems awful to me. I'd rather have Santa than this like destructive creature you bring into your house and your kids are like,
But you don't have to have
none
either.
of it. I'd rather have none of it. So all
have
these
Santa
Kids, there's
and
miracles
not
in real
be
life. Look at
disruptive.
trillions of dollars being printed out of thin air.
yeah.
Let's talk about fantasy.
go back to work.
What's money?
Santa gives all of your presents to the government. That's what they want. And what do they do with the presents? They drop them on kids in foreign countries
should
at
just
high
have-
rates of speed.
We should just have
I'm
the
taking-
libertarians rebrand
The
Santa.
government's taking 50% of the presents and he cuts them in half. Each present in half.
Buzzsaw?
This is a lesson that you got to learn at 4.
I think because we've been lied to by our parents, a lot of people are recycling
all the way up till 11 years of age.
It's like an abusive cycle. Like they're like, "What's so wrong with it? It happened to me.
So,
it's fine.
Does
I'll
it
lie."
still feel like they lied to you at a certain point where you were like, "Oh, they were just trying to give
Have
me a
you
natural
forgiven them?
childhood"? Yeah.
Yeah, but it confused the hell out of me.
It's not a happy
Probably sure
childhood.
confuse the hell out of them when you're like 30, being like, "Mom, I forgive you."
Look at millennials. Look at the younger generations today. They're entitled, they're lazy, they're Marxist, and it's not all because of Santa. Santa's
50-50.
50-50, right? Well, listen to this. The idea that some authority figure, a big fat suit wearing authority figure, shows up and gives you what you ask for if you're good.
Chris Christie for
And he's
2024 president.
and he's wearing red.
Yep.
No, listen. And he's wearing red. This was a communist plot from the
That's what
beginning.
I've been
There you
thinking.
go.
But he doesn't wear red in all cultures. Like, that's
kidding.
the thing. Also,
Wants to
sometimes
put
he
you in the
brings
coal
oranges.
mines.
But also,
the kids, look, you take kids, you take them to the middle of the woods, and you leave them there and say good luck. And if they survive for 2 weeks,
Exactly, I'm
then they're
listening.
strong enough, like the Spartans do, right? No, I'm kidding. My point is, I don't think you should pamper children at all. I think kids from the moment they're born should understand life is not fair. And this idea, like, no, let them have magic in their life. Why? To rip it away from them and gut them when they're older? No. Let them understand the reality of what the world is. Be a good parent. Teach them to survive in it, and they will find happiness.
Did you like sitting on Santa's lap? Well, newsflash, that was a pedophile.
magic
This
is
is a
real,
lesson
man.
that you're learning.
Like, how does an atom form? Let the kid think about that. Show him what.
I don't even know that.
Exactly. If I was 4 and 6 and that's what I was thinking about on Christmas Eve, it would have been a lot cooler than like wondering how a dude can fly through the sky and then finding out it wasn't real. Plus, it's about Jesus. The whole thing's supposed to be about Jesus Christ, and the fact that they turned it, commodified it into something. The corporation, like Coca-Cola, having these pictures of big fat Santa drinking
And
his
speaking to
sugar.
the evangelical audience now.
Look, man, why is it that millennials don't want to work? Humans like doing what they were doing when they were young, because these are the formative years where they are being created and they're being taught. Everybody, well, not everybody, but we were talking about this earlier. Chick Magnet by MXPX came on the radio, and I was listening to streaming radio, and I was like, I know how to play that song on guitar. I know every word of that song, and I haven't played it in 25 years. Because I was 12 years old, and I learned that song, and it'll never leave.
Yeah, I got you.
So these kids are growing up.
But I don't think it's only that. There's also that people are incentivized where they see a pathway that doesn't seem like it's going to work for them, and that's one of the reasons they don't want to work.
Yeah, but look.
Sir, say that again.
Demoralized, kind of.
Yeah, they see that they go, why don't you want to work? And you go, it doesn't seem like it's going to work out for me either way.
Yeah, but that's part of the issue, right? Kids, millennials especially, millennials are a lost generation. And you look at all the data, and I'm not trying to be cute. Like, it's a fact. Millennials are broken as a generation. Not every single millennial, but a lot of them. My first job when I was 9 years old.
Yeah,
family business. I mowed lawns. I shoveled snow. If I needed money, I had to work for it. So when I grow up, I'm not averse to hard work. I'm like, I'm driven to do it. I'm driven, gotta work more, gotta build that castle. I don't know what the light at the end of the tunnel is. All I know is like, gotta put one more brick in the foundation. All of my friends though, did literally nothing. Not all of them, but a lot of them. They rode their bike around, they played video games, then they went to school, were told what to do, then they went to college, now they're all in debt, and they hate working. I'm like, well, right. They were created by their parents and raised to never work. Why would they enjoy doing work that creates when they've never done it before? Their first job out of college. They're people, average millennial, probably.
Well, they have to start seeing the rewards of that work, but there's some truth to what you're saying for sure.
But they listen.
Allowance.
Your family. There's food in the fridge. You go to school. Lunch is given to you. Your parents have a lunch plan, or it's a public school, and they give you lunch. Then you go to high school. You're told what to do the entire step of the way. Everything's given to you. Then you go to college. Loans pay for everything. Then you leave. Now you're in debt. Good luck. They've never worked before. They don't understand, and they're all saying to themselves, "Why isn't the authority just giving me what I want and need anymore?"
That's allowance.
Me, I did the opposite. It's like, you want money? Go shovel snow. Go mow the lawn. So then we would go door to door and be like, can I mow your lawn? Can I rake your leaves? Can I shovel your snow? You make $10. Then I got a job at my family's coffee shop, 9 years old, bought Pokemon and Game Boy by myself. Now that I'm older, I'm like, what's the next thing I can do to build that castle and get where I need to go? I think
you're also in a system though where you're reaping the benefits of your rewards, right? A lot of people are having trouble getting on the track, And I have a little more faith in them. I have a little more faith in people. And I don't think it's just that they have like a culture of laziness. I think that some people are having trouble getting on a track to start.
Bro, I was put on the track when I was 6 years old, 7 years old. These people are in their 20s and they've never been on the track before.
No.
That's my point.
So I mean, okay, let's say you get into there's lots of people, then let's say you get into a workplace and you're like, oh, if I work hard here, I can get promoted here. And then, okay.
And that's
I'm
already
rich.
the problem.
Then you see
Don't take a job.
You're
Don't
saying
do
you're
that.
saying hard work for the sake of hard work.
No, listen. So there's a lot of, I play guitar when I'm 12 years old.
Yeah.
I learned how to play basic chords. When I'm 19, when I'm 20, I need money. I take my guitar out to Wrigley Field. I stand outside. I play guitar. I make money. I don't have
well,
to
that's
go.
why you're a multimillionaire, right? But
Right. But it's because when I was a kid, my parents were like, if you want something, you have to figure out how to produce value so that someone will give it to you. There's no man in the chimney who's going to come and give you whatever you want. That's not happening. There's no authority and no boss will give you what you want. If you want something, you have to figure it out.
that's a funny
It's
thing
like,
for it.
preach! There's no man in the chimney.
There's no man in the chimney. Yeah, I know what you mean, but
I had friends that had got allowances. I think that's very communist. That'll get you wanting UBI when you're older.
Not if you have to do chores.
Then you get rewards for like incentives. That's pretty cool. Like if you get an A, I had one friend, if he got an A on his report card, he get $10 for every A. I was like, oh snap! But my parents wouldn't do that. They were like, you got to work. But Patrick Bet David, for instance, he makes his kids read a book. Every book they read is currency in his house.
Yeah.
So he's like, how many books? It's 20 books to get that thing, that race car. How many books have you read? And they say 2. And he's like, all right, 18 more. And then you're going to get it. And they walk in and they see the thing up on the top shelf. And he's just reading.
And we
in
had-
general, like the ideal that greatness is good is good for kids to have.
In grade school, in first grade, my teacher had a thing called 10 tickets. And if you did the appropriate thing, you got a ticket. And once you had 10, you could go up to the box and trade tickets for a prize. That's the kind of thing. And then also
Prize was a knight at her. Yeah.
No, it was like a recorder. You get a little boop, 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 you know, those
just created currency.
and yo-yos. Yo-yos were based.
Oh yeah.
And then my parents did the thing where we got money for every A, B, C, D, and a downward
That's
sliding
awesome.
scale.
They gave you money for D's?
D, no, I think D's were nothing. I think A's were like
like that'd be
$3,
like-
B's
you're
were
like,
2,
I'm
C's
taking
were
some
1 or something
back.
like that.
very
and then
Asian.
every well, only my mom, but every report card, it was like, you've got $50, let's go buy Legos. And it's like, yes.
Yeah, you want to have a good incentive.
You're incentivized, yeah.
I couldn't manipulate my parents into that one. And then I gave up on grades in 4th grade because of it. I was like, why am I even trying? They don't even check my homework anyway.
I love that you gave up on grades before you knew Santa was
like,
fake.
if I get a B-, no one will complain. So that's what I
So
aim
the
for.
theory is that from a young age, kids need to have those incentive structures set up.
Let's go back pre-industrial revolution and even somewhat into it. Children would be with their parents the entire time. There's no daycare. There's no public schooling system.
There was no Santa Claus.
Sure, whatever.
It got invented in like 1812 or something.
There's a kid. He wakes up.
No 50%
Once he's
tax
old
rate.
enough, the dad's like, "Here's how you help wash the clothes." Now that kid every day is interacting with the business of the parents and learning from adults. There's a viral video where these 10-year-old kids, it's from like the 50s, and they're talking about war or whatever, and they sound like adults. And everyone was shocked. They were like, "Why do these kids sound like they're talking like adults?" And it's like, well, we used to raise them.
They've been working in a factory for 5 years.
At that point, they weren't working in factories. But so when I'm 9 years old, my mom opens a coffee shop on the roadside of Chicago. And so I go work there on the weekends. When I'm working the cash register, I have an adult man complaining to me. When I go and sit down to have lunch, there's a bunch of adults working at that cafe talking about politics. I'm surrounded by adults who speak like adults. And so that puts me in an entirely different position to all the other 6th graders who were talking about yo-yos. When I go back to school during the week and I've got $30 in cash from tips from working at my family's business, they're all broke. And I'm like, oh, I got lunch. And they're like, whoa, Tim's rich. And I'm like, I have a job. I work in my family business. So I bought Pokemon Red by myself. I said, I want a Pokemon. My dad goes, well, how many weeks until you save up enough tips? And I was like, I don't know. I think 2 weeks. And then I got the money and then I bought a Game Boy and Pokemon. And I was like, this is mine. I bought it. So that's how I grew up. And then my friends, I was talking to a friend of mine.
Let me
in
give you the
college.
other side of that, though. So I, for example, like worked a bunch of jobs. I was a referee, worked for the city, worked at the hockey rink, did a bunch of different things like that, right? I always was the worst employee because I knew that this is not what I'm going to do. I'm just doing this because basically I'm forced to have a job against my will. Whatever, you need to have money and stuff like that. But I would say
Forced
that
to have a job.
I was a guy that, did a bad job at that work and probably spent all my time trying to be funny and like making jokes and like stuff like that.
This is like 4 years ago.
This is 4 years ago.
No, just kidding. But how old were you when all this was going down?
I don't know, start probably from whatever, 12 or, probably when I was in early high school, I was working there. Yeah, I had paper routes, all that sort of stuff, but bad employee. And I would say some of that because I was using my brain, I was thinking of, being funny and all that sort of stuff. And that in my specific case, like that led to what I'm doing now. So there is
the suffering of the
pathways.
job.
No, just focusing on, I would say what I would now describe as like being creative.
Not every single person finds
so there's
success
different
in the
ways to
exact
skin a
same path.
cat, yeah.
However, I believe it is overwhelming that if we teach kids, you need to work to survive. Like you said, you were forced against your will to have a job.
Well, I'm saying greatness is like that's why when you were talking about Patrick McDavid making his kids read books, or someone making their kid be great at sports, it doesn't always
have
have
the
to come.
opposite effect.
It doesn't always have to come in the form of work at some job that you're getting no skills for, not really learning anything. Like greatness can be learned, and that value can be like implemented on a
doesn't mean
kid
job.
without.
Work means producing value. Work means
If you're playing
Doing something,
minor hockey, you're not producing any value.
you
but
absolutely are. It's entertaining.
yourself you are.
It's entertaining for the people who
For
are watching.
nobody.
It's well, look. So why do we have sports? Well, bro, there are pro athletes who make more money than firefighters. That's like the norm for pro athletes because it's valuable to people who like to watch it.
Once you're good at it.
Plus, you're being physically fit, you're improving your health. There's tremendous benefits to this. And then when you want to do certain jobs, like let's say you're good at riding a bike, guess what? You can be a courier. There's tons of skills you can learn and transfer them to work. And being funny and sharpening that skill is a value to society. People think work means serving burgers. Well, if you like making burgers, then that's your work. If you like writing songs, that's your work. The problem is there are people posting videos on TikTok being like, I literally want to do nothing.
Yeah.
I want to go home and turn the TV on.
Yeah.
That's what this generation
veg
is built
out,
on.
goblin mode.
Right. So my point is
Something you have to focus on something.
when parents should give their kids guidance and make them do things, because I can't tell you how many stories I've heard from people who are like, my parents made me do this and I hated it and now I love it. There's
What
like
would be an example?
a friend of mine, it's a pro skateboarder who as a child said to their father, I want to get a skateboard like all the other kids. And the dad said, if I get you this skateboard, you will skate every week, no matter what. You can skate whenever you want, but every
Like a
weekend
tiger dad
we're
for
going.
skateboarding.
And they were like, deal. And then after 3 months, they said, I don't want to skate anymore. And he goes, we're going to the skate park now. Now they're a pro skateboarder and they're like, I'm glad my parents made me do this.
Yeah. I think a lot of like you
Sure.
see musicians, like a lot of like violin players are like, I hated it.
Oh, I had to play the piano against my will.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Same there.
ultimately, especially with children, they're just motivated differently, right? Like one of my younger siblings loves to read, no problem. One of them hates it. It's you can't expect them
Yeah.
all to do the same
Yeah,
things. I think that's one of the challenges with saying like, you might have the one kid who is like, yes, I would love to make money. Give me every side job that we have. I want to get a paper route as soon as I can. You have another kid who's like, I don't want to do that. Those things aren't motivating to me. And so it's hard to adapt a universal strategy. I think the idea that you need to be willing to take on responsibility and you need to be contributing to your household, you need to be expecting things not to be given to you, but to work for them
kinda
is
how
a
I
good
see
thing.
it.
Here's what drives kids, their peers. So it's not absolute, but there's a tendency. If you take a kid and say, I want you to learn piano, that kid's going to be like, I don't want to learn piano. That's so stupid. Why? Because what are their friends doing? They want to be social with their peer group because that's what humans do. However, later on in life, when they're really good at piano and everyone's praising them for it, now they feel good. They're like, wow, I'm really glad my parents got me to do this.
Also, when three of your
Yes.
friends have instruments and they want to start a band, that's when I
Easy.
get the snare drum.
And that's what happened to me. So I'm like, I guess I'll play drums. I get a drum set. I stopped playing after a few days. I learned how to play, and then I won like an award at school, and I took lessons, and then I was like, I don't care.
Coolest guy.
And then my friend said, we don't need a drummer, we need a guitarist. And I went, Mom, I need a guitar now. And so then she's like, okay, well, here, take your brother's guitar. My brother was like, don't take my guitar, what are you doing? And she's like, you don't play it. And then he's like, what's dumb? And she's like, I'll get you a bass or whatever if you let him. Fine, okay, fine. Now I'm learning guitar because my friends were trying to be in a band.
Yep.
So I'm just trying to fit in.
Yeah.
And I end up playing guitar.
I had another incentive-based thing. Even in college, my parents were like, if you get a job, we'll pay half your rent. I was like, sweet, I'll get a job.
We're going to go to Super Chats. So if you haven't already, would you kindly smash that like button, subscribe to this channel, share the show with your friends, head over to timcast.com, click join us to become a member, because I'm sure the members only uncensored show will be pretty wild and it'll be fun and we'll take your questions. And let's read what you got to say right now. All right. Kilted Carnivore says in Trump's voice, first, the very best. First. It's very good. Congratulations, Kilted Carnivore. Culture Abduction says, I'm first tonight, damn it. No, you're not. Sorry. Clint Torres says, howdy, people. Did you miss me? Trick question. Of course you did. But you are also third. Congratulations to Kilted Carnivore for being the first super chat.
Hi, Clint.
How's it going? Ready to Rumble says, Tim, you should do a segment on the Palestinian protesters showing up to the Christmas tree celebration in New York, chanting, burn it down. I talked a little bit about it earlier. And what I said was, this is why I despise the woke left, because you can talk about the debate between left and right, but nobody takes Christmas from me.
Yeah, pine trees are legit, dude.
Yeah.
All
I
praise
Is
the
it-
pine
is it-
tree.
is it-
Last year, you were here right before Christmas.
Is that true?
And we had these little Hershey's Kisses, and you were like, "Oh, Christmas!" And you grabbed one,
Nice.
and I'm like, "You see, Christmas, man. Even
Yeah.
Ryan gets it."
I like
I'm
the spirit.
Jewish and I love
He does,
Christmas.
yeah, he's-
I love Christmas.
Don't stop.
You're really landing on there.
I love Christmas.
Listen, you and Ian can have whatever you do.
You into Hanukkah?
whatever pagan rituals you're getting up to.
Yeah, Ian dances
talking about
naked
the
around
sil-
the trees
We're
outside.
talking about Amanita muscaria, dude, and the Tibetans that would go under the pine tree and they'd collect the reindeer dung would fertilize the Amanita muscaria mushroom, and then they'd collect it and bring it back because their teepees their yurts were snowed in. They'd have to climb down the chimney,
Nice.
hang them up over socks over the fireplace to dry them out overnight, and then they drink Amanita muscaria
Well,
tea the
that's
next
trip.
morning.
Let's grab this one. We got Jacob Paradis says, "Shout out to Home Depot for supporting Donald Trump's campaign, even if he's convicted." Just in time for Christmas shopping. What, did they come out with a statement or something?
Yeah, he ran an op-ed a little while ago. But he's endorsed him before.
We support everything orange.
But to be fair, I think they're talking about the founder of Home Depot. He's not technically with the company anymore, but he's a very wealthy billionaire. so
He's
it's
looking
good to
down at
know.
his apron and it's orange, and he looks at the TV and he sees Trump and he looks down again and looks up and he's like, "How dare they? If they come for one of us, they come for all of us."
Yeah.
Anything orange. All right, what do we got? The Dude Abides says, breaking news, SCOTUS dockets another Illinois assault weapons ban case. Justice Amy Coney Barrett gives Illinois till December 6th to respond to plaintiffs in the Naperville case who brought in an emergency appeal to SCOTUS. Very, very cool. All right, well, we will see. We will see. Let's grab some more super chats. What have we? Let's see. Miss Mary says, question for Ian, what mountains are in Florida?
That was all a lie. Luke's not actually living in the mountains. He's in Miami. I don't know.
He's in the Everglades on like a little raft.
The
It's actually
Azores.
quite flat.
I'm just naming mountains. Yeah. Are there mountains in Florida?
I don't think so.
Greg Duvier says, Tim, I canceled my subscriptions to Max the day Warner Boys said they were pulling ads on X. They asked why, and I told them because you pulled ads on X. Yesterday, I joined Angel Studios to replace Max. Here. That's how we do. That's what we do. Yeah, we got to get Ryan Long and Danny to do an Angel Studios movie.
What's it? Oh, is that what the studio is called?
The distribution company.
They did Sound of Freedom.
Oh, that's Sound of Freedom.
And
Yeah.
so
Okay.
the way it works is you submit like a
torch.
Yeah, it's like a
I think
screener.
that was last time we were here too.
Was it?
That just came out. Yeah.
Yeah, you do a screener. Oh no, wait,
Like a 5-minute. What they called a torch.
Yeah.
It's just like a
And
5-minute
then-
preview of the movie.
everybody there basically votes if they want to see it produced.
That's
and,
sick.
and then this basically is how the funding goes to the movie. And then they got a movie coming out on Friday, The Shift. Yeah,
That's a
with Neil
great
McDonough.
way to do it. Yeah.
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 So everyone votes on it, and then all the money goes to the one that gets voted the most.
And so
cool.
they've got like 200,000 members.
How much money? What's the budget?
I don't know what their budgets are, but I can say to be a member, it's $20 a month or $150 a year, and they have 175K members. So
What a cool service.
there's
a good
funding
idea.
there for these movies, right?
Yeah, and you can
want it to
resubmit
work.
if it doesn't get high enough. They'll like let you resubmit. Eventually, they'll like help if they like it enough. They'll help people help you with it. They're telling a story. That's how the shift got through.
And they say it's all about uplifting the light. So if it's like not evil content, if you're basically if you're like not
Oh, so
woke,
we shouldn't be like Sound of Freedom, but where the bad guys are the good guys.
From the other perspective.
Just think about it.
Well, have you seen
Criminal organization getting taken down.
have you seen Freedom Tunes joke about this, Seamus's?
What is the joke?
It's two movie executives who are looking at the news about all the money coming in for Sound of Freedom. So they're like, what is all this? Why are people liking this movie? How is it such a big deal? Let's go watch it. And then it shows them in the theater and they're like shocked and they're crying. And then as they're leaving, wiping tears away, they're like, I can't believe it. I never knew. Those poor traffickers.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, what do we have? MF Damien says PetSmart owns Chewy while selling its own version. Of course, controlled opposition, man. If you're going to sell a Pop-Tart, you got to make the opposition nasty ones, and then you can be like, we're better than that brand, because then the other brand can't sue you.
Classic.
That's how you do it, man. Kaleem Mims says, Bob Iger is the reason Disney is doing this nonsense. He's the reason they are being political because he wanted to be president and he wanted to be part of the embassy with China. He needs to go.
Was he making a play in the political world?
I guess. I don't know.
I heard that he was admitted that they've been doing poorly because of the politics. But
Oh, for sure. ESPN is like disaster because of that.
Salty says, Tim, great guest. Ryan Long is hilarious. When do we the live action show of my comic? When do we do it? Silence Dogood. I so want to cast him as the lead, a young Ben Franklin who takes on an AI that thinks it's God. I just have to point out he didn't mention Danny.
Yeah, that's fine.
Danny's here too, guys. He's important. He's a
Interesting.
comic.
Yeah, so Salty made a comic. Silence Dude. We
Danny
actually
can't
have
be
a
Ben
copy of it.
Franklin. I'm more of a Ben Franklin. I'm more of a Ben Franklin, yeah.
Yeah. Alahad says, here to help you pay for your ice bath, Tim. Haha. Well, I appreciate it. We got one. It's so cool. I'm excited. Because I hear, like, after you exercise, what do? Like, jump in it?
No, you're supposed to. It depends on if you want to build the muscle, you wait 6 hours before you get cold. But if you want to shrink the muscle and you don't want it to grow, then yeah, right in.
You're not doing the ice bath?
This is Andrew Huberman stuff.
You just bought it?
Yeah.
And you
It's
just
not
sit
here yet,
Waiting,
right?
he's waiting for it to
okay,
get delivered.
okay.
No, it's not here yet.
That's an impulse purchase.
But that's more
you
after
haven't even done it
Instagram
yet.
told me to do it.
No, I was thinking that you haven't even done it yet.
That's more after lifting, and definitely look into that. I don't want
First thing in the morning,
Good
too.
for, yeah.
What's that liquid nitrogen thing that you do? Like you go into a chamber and it
The
sprays
cryo chamber. The cryo
Hyper-
chamber. It's just like,
hyperbaric. Is that what it's
no,
called?
no, it's a cryo chamber. It's like you go in there and it's, I don't know.
They do it to like tone your
minus-
muscles or something, right?
I think it's just for inflammation and stuff. It's like minus 50.
It's good for a million things.
But you only go in for 2 minutes. Like
None your
otherwise
business
you can get
says,
hurt.
you guys know you can turn off targeted ads, right? Why would I want to do that?
You can. I actually didn't know that, but
But why would I want to? Like what like I'm going to get an ad for like a hairdryer? I don't have hair. You know, I want an ad for a TV I might buy. You know what I mean?
I do buy clothes off.
Well, that's the stuff when you get apps and they go ask with Apple's update and they go like ask not to track you or whatever, and they
Yeah,
give
you can
the
do that.
option and you can say no, and then
They're like, yeah, now we're
and then
definitely
they just give you
not.
random
Now
ads.
suffer. Like, this is
But
what
they
you
just
get.
they sent me an ad for this adjustable heat and ice bath thing. I'm like, I'm glad they did because I want it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I just get a picture of a guy and he goes, "Tread on this." I
You know-
go,
you know what-
"Ooh,
you know-
don't mind if I do.
What we're gonna get is a
I'll buy a Fueto shirt. That'd be good.
we're gonna get a sensory deprivation tank.
Yes, please.
Oh, those
then-
are awesome.
Dude, I just heard from Corin Nemec when I was interviewing him last couple weeks ago that the pyramids were apparently sensory deprivation chambers they would use to astrally project their consciousness.
Okay.
They're capped with gold. This is like Freemasonry stuff. I don't know. Wild concept. He said they found heavy saltwater residue in the king's chamber. Or they would like,
I feel like I don't
Isn't
get
that
cool enough
because the
Instagram.
Sphinx
don't want to put a
was-
black
That's all
light in the
I've
king's chamber.
Wasn't it something like on Rogan? Some guy said that the Egyptians found the pyramids or something like that.
yeah.
The
They
guy
definitely-
who has the Netflix series
Is that what it is?
Somebody-
What's that guy's name?
Graham Hancock.
Graham
The
Hancock?
Egyptians didn't build it; they found it.
Graham Hancock's
That's what Jack was talking
main
about last night.
theory, from what I can see, is that history started before we started recording it. So when not
Yeah,
recorded it, but
we're-
like all of the professors and
Yeah,
all
there's
of
been
the
great, and there's been huge floods that basically
huge
reset
floods,
everything.
But they were saying, he's kind of saying the Ice Age killed everyone, and he was kind of like, it didn't kill everyone. There was still some people kicking around, and that's where
Yeah,
they had these
what if-
ideas from.
Because like it's 50 degrees out here right now, and it's not supposed to be. What if like Antarctica melts and there's skyscrapers and just like a city?
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
And that's why that's why it's like hard to go. It's like so much ice, you can't really find anything. It's really hard to go there, but the ice melts, and then all of a sudden everyone's like, dude,
I've been hearing that it has
Atlantis.
to with the solar cycles apparently are a big part of it, or at least people are saying. Ben Davidson talks a lot about
I've
it.
been hearing.
Solar weatherman. Yeah, I can't confirm or deny, but on Twitter, Solar Weatherman goes deep on this stuff. That that's why it seems cyclical, is because it has to do with.
Well, it is crazy to think that if there was a solar, because they say like they've these old civilizations, and because everything is digitized right now, if there was say a solar flare and everything just went to crap, it would only take 100 years or 200 years before this would just all be kind of gone.
And like
There's no
uranium,
no electricity, everything would just be lost.
you can dig up uranium, and then how hard is it to make nuclear power out of uranium? I don't know the enrichment process.
you put it in water.
Probably pretty hard.
The water boils,
gotta-
and then you have this pressure spin. Well,
You got to do stuff to it, though. It can't just raw uranium. Doesn't
Yeah, I don't
get
think
it.
we're just going to kind of DIY
Uranium
But I
230
think
power
I think the
plants.
crazier thing would be creating the gigantic copper coils.
the copper, like the Baghdad batteries in mass. They create lots of little ones.
Like, look up electric motors.
Yeah.
And what you need to create an electric motor.
We've
right?
been talking
the
about
turbines
this
and
a
things
lot
like
on
this.
the Boys Cast.
It's
because,
wild.
do you know every 15 minutes it seems like there's like a new article being like, oh, the emperor was actually trans, or hunters were actually women.
Yeah, I saw that
Yeah,
one.
there's lots that we were just loving the idea of like, what chance do you, when you die, like in a million years, they're going to be having articles just saying you were doing all the stuff. Tim was like a trans dom.
No, they're gonna. We have a portrait of Mr. Bocus. They're gonna like find the house and
We're
see
going to find one little
they're
joke.
gonna be
and
like,
yeah,
they worshipped cats.
Yeah.
Yo,
Yeah, they're making-
If aliens found the internet, they'd be like, these people worship cats.
Yeah.
And dogs. Like,
That's a
it's wild. It's crazy.
toxoplasmosa, man. That's that. By the way,
Sure.
Bucko's doing great. I haven't seen him for a week, so it was shocking to see him after a week.
He ripped his back open.
Yeah, but it feels real good if you rub the sides of his.
So we had to give him a neckerchief because for some reason he started scratching and he rubbed it raw.
Maybe he's dehydrated.
Maybe he was cold and he was asking for a scarf. Now he's happier.
I don't know. I think he's sick and something was causing him to itch.
His
I think
eyes
he
are
likes
better.
fashion and he likes the accessory.
Yeah, he's probably dehydrated. That's my guess.
But Seamus 1 is doing fairly well.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Do you have any video of him yet?
I mean, I haven't posted anything, but we do. He's using the litter box. So Seamus we got him in the garage. He's using the litter box.
Nice.
And, that's
Seamus 2 taking it.
he's having a good time. Yeah,
Seamus 2 is handling it well.
Seamus 2 is
Seamus 2 ran away as soon as you got Seamus 1. So he's got some jealousy.
Well, no,
issues.
he was gone before this, but yeah. Seamus 1 is going in for his appointment in a week and a half.
Nice.
We're gonna cut his balls off.
Snip the bits.
Snip the bits.
Nice.
And he knows. He stares at us when we go in there, and he's like giving us his look because he
Getting
knows.
all his humping in right while he can.
No, he's just like he's in jail, man, and he knows what's coming. He knows. He's less than a year old. He's a stray that was living in our garage, and so we just trapped him, brought him to the vet, and we're gonna, make him a friendly, happy cat.
Nice.
Transing him.
Well, we don't want him having little cat babies, and
Yeah, I got it.
but he's not happy about it because he liked being outside and hunting the birds and all that. Now he's going to be a little, unit cat and living in the house and getting fat. There you go. All right, let's read some more. William Ubilis says, disabled vet, lost my job yesterday. Car is broke down. Will run out of money this month. Need to see son hours away for holidays. Give, send, go. GBB35. Well, good luck, sir. Good luck, sir. All right, we'll grab another super chat. Matt Murphy says Bud Light's strategy should be run the best 3 to 4 ads from the 80s, 90s, and 2000s, and then one new ad of Travis Kelce dancing to Shake It Off, then just have a VP marketing say to trades, we just want to get back to who we are.
I'm listening.
Okay.
Did you hear that there's like some lady who said that Kelce and Taylor Swift's relationship is just a fake stunt to make a bunch of money or something?
I would
That's been
imagine
around
some.
from the
I don't believe it.
beginning.
I would imagine every opinion possible has been said about that situation by now.
I mean, it is crazy how he's just in all these ads all of a sudden that coincide exactly with the relationship, but maybe they can crank
I don't
those
believe
out
it.
quickly.
Taylor Swift doesn't need to do that.
No, she doesn't. No,
Yeah, it doesn't.
it doesn't help her any. It helps-
I can't imagine.
Maybe it helps the NFL.
But how much money do you have to offer Taylor Swift to fake? a relationship?
NFL has that money.
I really don't know.
Have you heard the thing about they
That's a
think
lot of
that
work,
she's
you know
gonna
what I
mean?
break up with Travis Kelce because she's a big Eagles fan. So when they go to the Super Bowl and it's Chiefs versus Eagles, she's gonna break up with him. So he's a terrible game and the Eagles are gonna win.
That's this
I
year's
mean,
script.
maybe the
And-
Eagles are paying her off.
And there's a mysterious $500 million wager for the other team, which is strange. No,
Now
I'm
we're
kidding.
talking.
I don't.
Guys,
I was
he
thinking
went
about
to,
this. Like,
Trader Joe's to get her ice cream when her private plane flew directly to Kansas City. They're obviously in love. You're all wrong.
no,
man.
I'm imagining like the NFL going to Taylor Swift's people and being like, how much money for you to be in a relationship with a football player?
And he's sitting in the corner like really coy.
Yeah, what is she gonna? She's gonna be like, what is she, a billionaire? What's she
Yes.
worth?
She is a billionaire.
She's a billionaire. She's gonna be like, dude, she's like, there's nothing you could give me.
Yeah, I don't think
care.
that
She gets a
happened,
piece of
but-
a team.
He bought a nicer
who
house
cares?
to try and prove to her that he's worthy. Guys, come on.
At a
In
certain
love.
point, I wonder why, like,
We got suckered
Just
into
too
talking
much.
about it though.
Just like she
got
wanted.
us.
Just like she wanted.
That's how they get
blame
you.
the super
That was her doing the super chat from some alt.
That's how they get you, dude. Before you know it, you're like, I think he does love her as much as he says he does.
We're all crying.
You blink and you're in the convo.
let's grab some more super chats. Carly says, Ian, do you believe kids should never be told Santa's real? If not, what age do you think they should be told the truth? All kids will get picked on.
Yeah, I think they should be told St. Nicholas was a real saint and who he was and what he was, that Jesus Christ was real, that Santa Claus was kind of built by the writer that figured him out in the 1800s, that Coca-Cola made him into an icon, and that
What
so people
age?
celebrate it. Like, as soon as they learn to comprehend the things you're saying around Christmas time, be like, this is really cool. And then have fun with Christmas. Definitely do that. Start them with the truth early.
First words, Santa's not real.
Look into my eyes.
All right. We just got this stupid YouTube super chat jump ahead when it happens. What do we have here? Paul Tascalos has made it 20 minutes into DeSantis v. Newsom debate. My conclusion is we may need to just make Trump the king of America because if these guys are the future of American politics, we're absolutely screwed.
Oh, so it's a dud?
Dude, like there are some tweets. Newsom said the one thing that we have in common is neither of us will be the nominee. And I'm like, that's exactly why
Newsom said that?
Yeah. That's exactly why I'm turning it on. Like, what is the point of this? Dude, I think it really is. They're just laughing behind the scenes, being like, we
Yeah,
destroyed it.
DeSantis walking a plank with that debate.
He had a future. DeSantis had a future. He gave it away. What is wrong with this guy? But you know what? I got to be honest. I'm glad they did it to him. I'm glad they sank his campaign. I'm glad the neocons tricked him into all of this stuff, because if he's this stupid, he should stay away from politics.
Yeah.
He should not be involved. We need more capable people than this. Vivek's better. So
I agree.
Yeah, it's shocking that one of his campaign, who was it?
His
left for
national
the-
policy director was
Left?
leading stuff. Yeah, he just left for the Trump campaign.
That's wild.
Do you like Vivek?
Oh, of course. Yeah.
I like
Vivek's
him a
fantastic.
lot.
Michael Beacon says the real St. Nicholas was based and punched a dude in the face for denying the Trinity at the Council of Nicaea. Teach kids about Haymaker Santa. They might like coal, but no one likes getting laid out. Ha. All right, let's see. Where are
I
we
did
at?
used to wonder if like parents in Wyoming, where like coal is a major industry, they change the narrative so Santa doesn't give you coal. Like he gives you coal and it's a good thing. So, like this powers our family. This is a great
We
noble
won't be
thing.
freezing this year.
Like, they like sullied the name of coal, and all these like West Virginia and Wyoming are like, no, in our house, if you're bad,
If you're bad, you get coal.
Santa
And what if
gives
we
you-
get if we good? Just coal, but more of it.
Jermaine Wilkes says, Boys Cast makes me laugh. Timcast makes me think. Media is in Elon takedown mode. Is this good or bad? Is the move back to sense set to be destroyed ones now? I don't know what that means. Normies do not care. I don't know.
I think it's neutral. I don't think it's good or bad. I think it is natural, the natural part of the process of the awakening, the, what do you call it? The great apocalypse.
Maybe.
I think the thing about Elon Musk is there are so many people who are excited about him all the time, no matter what, that you have to have some things that you're like, I disagree with that, right? Yeah. Like when he's on WeChat in China, seems like there's some sketchy stuff going on there. But I love his stance on like everyone should have huge families. Like you shouldn't have just one person who can do no wrong. You have to be able to be critical a little bit.
Don't cult worship that guy. That's super important, man. He's just a dude.
Well, if someone's agreeing with you always, it generally means that they're just listening to the pulse of what they should be saying, right? Anyone that's an independent thinker, you're not going to agree with them on every single
I
issue.
just tweeted that out. This is actually, I blew my own mind with this tweet. If you like posts because of who posted them and not because of the content of the post, you're in a cult.
Yeah.
All right. Orlando Ortiz says, I refuse to tell my daughter Santa is real, only because I refuse to teach her I lie about anything. She deserves a better reality, a real one.
The thing is, though, you could say Santa, the idea of Santa is real and tell them what it is. That'll help them navigate understanding.
I think you should just talk about it in the, be like, yeah, many cultures have this myth about Santa. We are Swedish, so this is how we grew up learning about it. But in America, they talk about it this way. Like, kids are smart enough to be able to start analyzing the differences between things, and either they'll go through a make-believe phase where they'll say like, oh yeah, Santa, I have my own narrative about it, or they'll be like, that's interesting, it seems like it
with
probably
the
doesn't
internet,
work.
it's got to be on its way out anyway. Like the jig is a bit up with the internet.
Yeah, some people were telling me they tell their kids that it's the myth, and then they still have fun with it and celebrate the myth of
I think
Santa.
that's what, like, I know that's what my dad's wife does with her kids. She's like, it's a game. Like, it's just a game that we play. It's not real, but we can talk about it and we can have fun with it, but we don't treat it like it's fact.
You know what's really fun is taking the tree out after Christmas and setting it on fire.
Oh.
We have a fire pit. And so we cut it down, you put it in the pit, and we get a big fire going, and they go up. So it's great. You get this really big fire. Everyone sits around, and it's chilly outside, but you sit down, you hang out with friends, and the tree is being recycled back into nature.
Smells good, I imagine. That
Yeah,
pine.
it's fantastic. Oh yeah, it's great. It's pretty wild. The pine just
Yeah, it gets so dry, I imagine.
yeah, it just goes. Goes
Like
up
what?
like crazy.
What a wild fire hazard! A dry ass pine tree in your living room with all these lights
Ruined
on it that are
many a
getting super
Christmas,
hot.
Ian. That's a lot of Christmas disaster.
LED
That's
lights,
exactly
man,
true.
miraculous.
All right, Rorico the 13th says, Ian, the anime called Dr. Stone already has the answers. You should watch it.
What is it?
Basically, a bunch of people get turned to stone, and then this dude somehow turns not to stone, and then he's in a prehistoric, so civilization's collapsed and everyone's tribal again, but he's a super genius, and so he's building future technology from the ground up.
That's cool.
Yeah, and there's more to it than that, but basically that's about it.
Man, the
Super
Japanese
genius.
got it under wraps.
Yeah, there's a lot of good shows. It's funny because the American comic book industry and films now are struggling and failing. And people were talking about how manga and anime has been taking off because their stories are still based on the hero's journey, whereas American stories are becoming weird woke narratives of steal someone's clothes or something like that, like in Captain Marvel. That's what she did in Captain Marvel. She stole that guy's clothes.
Okay.
It's like, I don't know if
She was a bully, right?
Yeah, I don't know if I care about that narrative arc. You're a bad person.
The Marvels was one of the I went.
You went and saw it?
I went solo on tour, and to be honest, I kind of was hoping it wasn't going to be as bad as people said it was, because I would have liked to take the alternative position and be the guy that, I would have liked to be the guy that was like, honestly, it wasn't that bad, but it was really bad. And you are right. This was a new type of story that they invented. They were just trying to, they were like, this is a new type of story that's never been done before. It's like followed none of the normal things of what like story structure of thousands of years have told you.
Yeah, and like I can respect trying new things to a certain degree. Well,
they were already trying new things without the story being kind of different as well.
Right, but like the general idea is your story should have at least like who's the character, what's their conflict, how do they overcome it? But a lot of these new stories that Disney is doing are just like nothing like that.
Look how hard the badass can punch the wall. Look how hard they hit it.
They're all following the Steven Seagal narrative, where it's like he was great already, and then just goes and proves it, and then everyone just realizes he was even greater than they thought they were.
Have you seen?
It's like they're following the Steven Seagal format. No, I saw the Marvels.
The first one is that she has this power within her that's being suppressed by a man. And he keeps...
Don't all women...
No, hold on. Stop laughing. This is true. Jude Law keeps telling her to control her emotions.
Oh, nice.
Because she gets mad, and they put a device...
The trick was to not control her emotions?
Yes. They put a device on her that holds her power back, and then in the end, she realized she was always powerful, and she stops listening to the man, embraces her emotions, breaks the device, and fires an energy blast at him.
Of course.
Yeah, no, for real.
It's terrible advice for women.
You should see it. You should go. You'll hate it, but you'll laugh.
The secret powers are in your tears.
All right, everybody. If you haven't already, would you kindly smash that like button, subscribe to this channel, share the show with your friends, and head over to Timcast.com because the members-only show is coming up in a few minutes.
But also, can I?
Well, hold on. You can follow the show at Timcast IRL. You can follow me personally at Timcast. Ryan, take it away.
Also, well, obviously, the main thing is the Boys Cast comes out on Friday, and we've been Tomorrow, we do a sketch in every episode, and tomorrow's sketch is one of actually our better ones, actually. But more importantly, if you want to, or less importantly, but Phoenix, I'm going to be next weekend. Denver, Toronto, we just opened up another 40 tickets, so we sold out a big theater there. Then Dublin, London, Antwerp, Amsterdam, Copenhagen, Oslo, Stockholm, Perrysburg, Columbus, Liberty, Dallas, Baltimore, Calgary, Boston, Winnipeg, Atlanta, San Diego. So come out to one of the dates on the tour. The shows have all been sold out and awesome. Danny's gonna be there in Toronto. So
yeah. What's the website?
RyanLongComedy.com, and the Boys Cast is YouTube.com/the Boys Cast, or the Boys Cast everywhere.
Yeah, just follow me on Twitter at Danny Jokes, and my YouTube page _Danny. Check it out.
Cool. It's been fun having you guys here. I'm glad to see you guys again.
Thank you.
I'm Hannah Claire Brimlow. I'm a writer for Scanner, SCNR.com. You guys should all go check it out. We're really proud of the work we're doing there. You can still follow at Timcast News on Instagram and Twitter for updates and to see our work there. If you want to follow me personally, I'm on Instagram at hannahclaire.b. I'm on Twitter at HCBrimlow. I think you should follow at ChrisCarr17. He's our executive editor, and he is a very cool guy. I'm very appreciative of all the support he gives me with my work. Ian, it's fun to have you back.
That is a good idea to follow Chris Carr 17.
Yeah, Chris Carr 17, and then you should tweet at him specifically asking for cocktail recipes because he used to be a bartender. He's very.
Oh, he's tended
he used
bar
to have.
here.
He used to do a ton of mixed drinks here.
Well, I'm Ian Crossland. Follow me on the internet anywhere. Subscribe to me on YouTube where I do semi-daily interviews. It's been badass, man. I'm really happy to be a part of it. Like just to be able to elevate great people and to pick their brains is like this next level. So subscribe on YouTube, Minds, Facebook, X, and Rumble. That's where it's all going up now. And I'll catch you there. I'll catch you there later. See you later.
Excited for that Boys Cast as a fan.
Hell yeah, dude.
That'd be good.
Actually, we have the sketch where Joe Biden went to dinner with all these like trans women. Did you see it?
No, not Joe Biden, the Pope.
Oh, we can.
I thought it was.
Oh, right. We can pull it up.
Well, it doesn't matter, but that's what we have a sketch of it.
No, it's not
tomorrow
out.
morning.
Oh, it's not up.
Comes out
Okay,
tomorrow
right on.
noon.
But anyways, thank you.
Well, yeah, of course. I'm excited to see that. Let's get this after show. We have
All right, everybody.
there.
We will see you all over at timcast.com. Thanks for hanging out.